We don't have to explain our love to anyone. They're all just jealous anyway. Jealous that we have a kind of love that's greater than anything in the entire galaxy.
The streets of Salem were a terrifying sight. The witches dancing with the demons in the night.
Were you taking a shit on someone's grave? I mean, I have to know that much.
So I'm out in the middle of nowhere, okay? And there's 2 gas stations in this whole place.
So you weren't you weren't trying to be spiteful and just actually shit on someone's grave.
No, there was just nowhere to go to the bathroom, and all I had was Burger King napkins. So I said, I don't want to pull into this person's yard. So I finally pulled into the grave.
I pull into this person's grave.
There's a cop on the hill watching me take a dump.
Like receipts not being
Channel
filed.
died, Shannon. Have some goddamn respect.
Look.
No time was wasted in assembling a squad. This pitchfork army on a mission sent from God. No witch was saved from Reverend Paris's brigade. Their crusade, their crusade, their crusade. Call the magistrate and don't you wait another minute, cause this town is going to hell if we don't put away the sinning. And we got no time to let a jury have their turn. Let them burn, let them burn, let them burn. The damned were crammed into a carriage on the square. Their faces battered and their bodies all were bare. The Reverend led them to an isolated hill. Time to kill, time to kill, time to kill. One by one their necks were snapped beneath the cedar tree. The spirits vanished and the demons all were free. They dug a hole to hold the devilish remains. They were slain, they were slain, they were slain. The town was safe from all those wicked dissidents. They could continue with their life of innocence, dispensing justice from a higher power. They built a church atop the spirits and the bones. Their moans were heard as they were laying down the stones. But the witches got revenge beneath that steeple bell. They cast a spell, sent the Reverend to hell.
All right. I'm just going to say a quick hi to folks in chat. I'm not always live, but when I am, it's really cool that you guys show up. So it's very cool. I appreciate that. Scarlett, good to see you. Yeah, long time no see to you as well. Good to see you. Savage Minnow, good to see you. I think we've got a couple streams in the works that we're going to work together on. When that's with the religious movie, and I have a feeling it's going to be hilarious. Hey, just saying, good to see you. I am awake. I often am awake. But yeah. Let's see. Yes, you made it. You changed your name. Okay. Do I have to call you Miranda now? I don't know if this is like a joke name, or if you're now Miranda, but I'll have to get used to saying that. All right. Hey. All right. If I miss people coming in, I apologize. But I'm going to try to say hi to folks as they come in and try to be a good host. I'm mainly not awake. Uh-oh. Yep. Let's see here. Oh, I can call you Hillary. Good, because I was like, oh no, if I slip up and that's your new name, I'm going to feel really bad because you're definitely Hillary to me. Hi, Lono. Good to see you. Long time no see, Lono. Long time no see. All right. Okay, so I've been kind of sitting on this for, gosh, I don't know how long, maybe like 3 weeks or longer. And then part of it's just because of, I don't know, other interests tugging at me and stuff like that. But there was a couple things that kind of caught my attention, and I just found it interesting. I found it interesting that Cheshire's crawled out of the Goblin cave and decided to comment on Steve McRae. And I find it amusing because she was like the chief PR person for Steve McRae, who launched massive lies and a massive flock wall for Steve McRae. I think she knew exactly who he was from the get-go. It's just that she thought she was so clever that she could control him. And so that didn't work out very well for her in the long run. But hey, Lulz Cow, good to see you. But fast forward, she thought she'd replace, well, I guess I'll explain it for folks that don't know. And I'll just start from NSS up, even though there's history before that. Steve partnered with a man named Kyle. Kyle was a little bit shady, but charismatic and creative. And Steve is not creative. He has the creativity of a stone, and he has the charisma of a frog. I don't know. So he had some problems. So he's latches himself on to people that are better at public relations or better at art. And so, okay, I'll send you an invite, Savage. So he tends to hitch his wagon to people that are good at these sort of things, and that way he can garner an audience and do pretty well. And Kyle Sword, he actually did really well. He worked really hard, did a lot of artwork. They both worked hard on getting a lot of guests. But fast forward, Steve becomes Steve, as he always is, and starts fighting and berating and chasing off all sorts of guests, like Aaron Raw, for example, like Matt Dillahunty, for another example, people that are heavy hitters for Team Atheist that would be helpful to have on as guests occasionally. But no, Steve has a problem with everybody and fought with everybody. So Kyle sees this as like, you know, like, this is a problem. You're undermining our own channel here. But he does something kind of shady and goes, hey, I was going to put you on the schedule less. So this non-confrontive sort of like silent pull away thing, you know, that happens. And, you know, of course, you know, with somebody like Reg Rhetoric helping Steve out, he's going to be like, hey, that's not right. And so what's interesting is, fast forward again, Steve's putting not a whole lot of work in. He's chasing off the guests. Kyle's getting upset. Kyle decides to try to cut him out as a partner, is what it appeared to be. And so, you know, obviously, if you have an agreement for a partnership and someone just pulls on you, it's pretty upsetting, right? And so, but they proceed to go, we're going to burn this channel to the ground. And that's not exactly how you retain your audience either. So out of the ashes, he burns the channel to the ground. He tells everybody that Non Sequitur is your channel as well. Donate to your channel for your hi Samos. If you're going to be around, if you can help mod a bit, that would be helpful. Let's see. So they go, you know, burn the channel down, and they go after guests on the channel, like Katie Joy, like Jimmy Snow, like Shannon Q. They're going after all these people that have guested on the channel, and they're like, you're one of them. You've helped do this. And they rile up this angry squad. Now, at the time, Reg Rhetoric had 10,000 very active subs in Flat Earth Land, and he was able to garner their support and their usual internet rage that they constantly do, a bunch of angry little boys. And they're like, burn it to the ground, yeah. And they're following Rhetoric's lead, and he's got this angry little army of weirdos. And they do proceed to try to burn the channel to the ground and also sue Kyle. And so he tries to get everybody to donate to this suing of Kyle by saying, this is your channel. We're seeking justice. And you are non sequitur. Say it with me. You are non sequitur. You are non sequitur. And he tries to like say, oh, well, this is for the fans. It's not for me. It's for the fans. So donate so we can sue Kyle. And then a millionaire comes along and he's like, I'll sue Kyle because he was snotty to me once. And so Steve gets a lot of support and actually does sue Kyle. Kyle wigs out and freaks out, mainly because there's a high roller funding this. And he's like, I'm never going to be able to contend with them because all he can do is injunction until you are massively in debt and never going to climb out. Steve will be uncollectible. And what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Fight this big guy, And so he panics, deers in the headlights, runs off. He defaults, and Steve wins the channel. So Steve wins the channel of non sequitur, and he's like, awesome. And he's like, we're going to make it awesome. And they're like, we're non sequitur. Yay. And who slides into Kyle's place but Cheshire Vic, who is a quote unquote artist. I call her a tracer, but an artist. And Cheshire Vic slides in the spot and goes, I can do art better than Kyle. And it was about, like 6th grade level. And she comes in and she's like, doing art for the channel. And she considered herself a PR person for Steve McRae. What is a PR person? Like, you think advertisement, like what Kyle did. Hey, I'm putting our name out here. I'm putting our logo out here. I'm doing this, doing that. I'm all over social media. I'm trying to spread the word to come watch us on their channel. But no, that's not what PR is to Cheshire. PR to Cheshire is creating lies and a flak wall to protect all things Steve. By that, I mean, she launched lies against Nate the lawyer. She launched lies against my friend Fiona. She launched lies against anybody, Bill Ludlow, people that were respected in community, Dragnut, people that were respected in community and well-liked. And she didn't care what the truth was. And she would just launch these accusations and lies. And by that, I mean, some of them are nasty. Some of them are legal issues. And she did it all in the name of Steve. And when she was confronted, she would be like, plausible deniability, folks, and try to slide in that and be real slippery about it. And when she launched a campaign against my friend, accusing my friend of SA in the most ridiculous manner possible, in an airport, in public, in front of a whole bunch of people that we all know, creates a lie, attaches it to her name and her credentials. And so does Steve, and so does Reds. And it's about Reds being assaulted, which never happened. And they spread it all around to somebody that's a victim of SA, mind you. She spread it all around gladly. And then when she was confronted and it was shown to be a lie, she said, oh, but it's for a layered argument. It's a layered argument. And so just so you know, in Cheshire's mind and her ethics and rules, she calls herself, I'm chaotic neutral. Anybody that says they're chaotic neutral in Dungeons and Dragons and they bring it into real life, worry about them, watch them, don't hang out with them. It's usually a bad sign. Anyway, by any means necessary, right? Take down your enemies and create a flak wall for Steve. Well, guess what? The tables turned. Steve has a pattern. He waltzes into community and communities shatter. He can't partner up for people very long. He wants them to do all the work. And so Cheshire was doing an awful lot of work and not getting paid. And she's like, hey, yo, where's my paycheck? I deserve a paycheck. You promised me a paycheck. And he's like, oh, the money's coming. The money's coming. The money's coming. He has the channel from Kyle. He won the lawsuit. You know what he does? He fails to bring over the AdSense. he has these AdSense that he's supposed to connect to your YouTube. If you have a YouTube monetized channel, you probably understand it's not necessarily the most intuitive thing, but if you want your money, you're going to fucking figure it out, right? You're going to figure it out. So most people do. He's supposed to be this really smart guy that just hangs out with PhDs, and he should have a PhD, but he's too lazy to get one, and he doesn't have a single college degree, but, you know, he went to nuke school and whatnot. So he should figure out how to do AdSense. You think that would be the number one thing on his brain. You think it would be the number one thing on his first lieutenant Red's brain. Let me do the AdSense. He doesn't click the button. He didn't click the button. What? And they did this na 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 hey stream where they're like booting people and banning people. They have Nate Lord like banned, you know, like they're just like ha ha, and all that glory and all that, and donate. It's our first stream. Everybody donate, and the donations are rolling in. All those donations go to Kyle, all of them, and I think that pissed her off. She was pissed, and so she's like, I want my money, yo, and yeah, so then it doesn't come, or it's not enough, and so she starts rocking the boat. And then he goes, I want out of this partnership. I want out. I need somebody to mediate. And then someone goes, I'll mediate for you. And then somebody else goes, I have no legal standing. I'm an artist, but I'll mediate for you, Cheshire. And it's just horrible. It's terrible. It's a big train crash. And then I think Cheshire musters up a tear or two for, you know, impact. Well, like, let's just say Cheshire ended up taking the majority of Steve's money-making subs with her. Steve shot the channel that had rose from the ashes once again. Shot that channel dead again. Like I probably shouldn't use that phrasing. Demonetized. He just, that channel could have maybe recovered somewhat, but he made sure it didn't. It's interesting, right? It's interesting. Steve used to say creepy shit about Cheshire. Yeah, but Sweet Heathen, Cheshire, Manya not so much. Yeah. Chief Flying Monkey, absolutely. Let's see. Yeah, she thought she'd go full partner. Yeah. And well, that did not happen. Yep. So I'm just trying to quickly kind of go through, the events. So that way, if you're new to this, you're going to go, well, why do you care so much about what Cheshire has to say about Steve? Well, I find it interesting that now Cheshire says, oh, I have a problem with Steve. Oh, look at this. So she went into hiding for a while because of most likely Red's rhetoric is my guess. But Red's is not around. So she's feeling brave and froggy. Her channel's not doing much better than mine. And she streams on the regular. So she goes along with it all. She grabs some supporters. She loses her supporters because she's not all that interesting. and so here we are. But now she's feeling brave and froggy, and she wants to. I'm going to send you an invite, Savage. She wants to weigh in on Steve. Now I'm going to cover Cheshire, who's the former PR quote. Former artist, former kind of would-be partner. And then I'm also going to juxtapose EKC, who is most, I would say, if I was the elect, who is next is Steve's PR person with the spin. Who is Steve's spin doctor now? Well, I would say EKC, people suck. Out of the bunch, she's the most boisterous. She doesn't care what truth is. And so why not? She's not an artist, but she fancies herself a thespian. I said that with TH, by the way, a thespian. And she goes to improv camps and thinks she's so funny with her skits. So I'll probably be hitting her next, but I will first, not physically, like our channel. I need a phrasing. But first I want to like start with Cheshire, but I am going to send an invite to my buddy here, Savage. And if you feel froggy, you can join. If you feel sleepy, that's okay too. Just let me know. All right. So yeah. I just want to make it clear that I said thespian. All right. Let's see here, because we don't want that on. She can stay off of our team. Just kidding. All right. Let's see here. Okay. So Cheshire decided to speak up. So let's see if I can pull her up. I'm going to just make sure I'm sharing the audio because yeah. And I'm going to change my banner because this doesn't make sense anymore. So we're going to do boom, and we're going to go widen out this. All right, there we go. And one moment. Okay. I'm going to go peruse chat here again and just take a look. I'm going to say hi to the people I missed because I said hi earlier. Simos, always great to see you. Awesome. Simos has his own channel where he streams a lot of philosophy stuff. If you like philosophy, that's kind of where our roots were. And sometimes religion and sometimes race cars. And Daryl, gosh, I see you everywhere. I see you at a lot of places. So I don't know. From drag to haters naysayer kind of zone, like secular zone to here. Hillary, good to see you. Maya has her own show. Appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up, please, and like, please. That helps me out a lot. Maya has her own show. If you like discussions about bad science and kind of debunking those sort of things, or discussions on social issues and those sort of things, Maya is really good at that. So it's good to see you. Auntie Jessie, good to see you. Scarlett, good to see you. Wilson, good to see you. Lowell's Cow Production, good to see you. Sheba, good to see you. What they will do with you is what they will do to you. Good point. Good point. And that's just a general ethics thing. It's sort of like you cross me and this is what I'm capable of. Like there's warning signs all over that, right? It's just kind of interesting. Let's see. Not Nar, good to see you. And I'm just gonna go through the list some more. Lono, good to see you. That Amber chick, good to see you. All right. All right, if I missed anybody, I'm really sorry. I'm not that great at this. Silent, good to see you. The worst thing for me is like now that it's been sort of the etiquette to say hi to everybody, I just don't want to be the person that leaves somebody out. And so if I ever do, it's not intentional. Nestle, good to see you. Now that is a blast from the past right there, Nestle. All right, so I sent you a linky link, I think. Hang on. And so you can join or not. And then that's to Savage. But in the meantime, I'm going to start playing.
For how just this general statement is bullshit. But a little bit more has come out since.
So Steve, how do I explain this story? And I have to be careful how I explain it. There's a person that Steve and the sister wives dug up. I'm going to say dug up because they weren't really on the YouTube side so much. They're on the Facebook side. Who was somebody that's, they say that they're a cult survivor and they had an interest and got involved in Katie Joy stuff. And then Katie Joy is Katie Joy. And then they're like, Katie Joy is the worst. And like a lot of folks, they join these groups that are like exposing Katie Joy. Katie Joy has this knack of just making friends everywhere. So Steve likes to be the number one victim of Katie Joy. He likes to be like, everybody's not the real victim. I am a real victim. And he seems to just infiltrate these groups. And there's this other person who I like to call the potato, and she also has been taking some front driver's seat roles in some of these groups as well as I've noticed that there is a fall of power of Claire Bear, who's all over the place. Claire Bear is in several communities. She was a mod for several people, but it seems like Claire Bear has largely been discarded on Team EKC mod. And the person that has risen to power is both Potato Girl, Veda Potato, and Megan the Betrayer. And that's a whole nother story with those two, but they are not the kind of people that are great people. so there's a rise of power over there too. But anyway, they roll into communities. Steve has this knack of joining existing communities and sort of allogating it. Point and blank, there was this group called Guardians. And Guardians, I cannot stand people that fancy themselves as vigilantes on the internet, but they kind of saw them as that way. And they had Mark Pettigrew, I think that's how you say his name, but he's the guy from Lost who played Jacob. They found a celebrity and they attached themselves to him, and basically they were like, we need to fight against bullying on the internet, and we need to take away anonymity, and these poor celebrities are being bullied like William Shatner. And Steve goes, me too, and Cheshire's like, me too. And then at some point Shatner yells at, I think, Exiled. It was the weirdest interaction ever. He's like, blocked. But anyway, he hitches it with them, and it breaks, like all things. You know, I'm going to join the soccer mom group, breaks. I'm going to go in the beauty community, breaks. You just can't get along. He has this problem. Well, anyway, they roll into this Facebook group, and they go, then there's a rise of power and control, and people take control of Facebook, and then all of a sudden, some people gots to go. If you are not aligning with their mission, you gotta go. So this person that they found, Charla, apparently had to go. and so they grabbed control of the group, which I think had 2,000 people, and then they proceed to close it down and say, go to this active group, which I think was ran by Veda Potato. I'm not absolutely sure, but go to this active group over here. And that's pretty much on point with Steve. Is like he'll kind of go, roll in, they assimilate, and then they run off. And so he likes to have control of the narrative. He wants to be the number one victim of Katie Joy. So, and that is a lot to explain. A lot to explain. Anyway, I'm going to bring up Savage Minnow. Welcome, Savage.
Hey.
Are you a robot?
I am a robot. I was just saying that in chat, just in case there was any issues of you. I know sometimes you're very safe about who you bring in. So.
Oh yeah. Okay, that's good. It's good. My video mic volume needs to go up. Okay. That's as high as I have it. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Let me see. Let me figure this out. Is that something I can control in StreamYards? Because I don't think I can. I have it maxed up on YouTube.
I think you have to max it up on YouTube and max it up on your system, if I remember.
Oh, good idea. I do have one of those. Hang on one second. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I do have something that does that. I have an extension.
Yeah, stop sharing your screen so that you're not. There you go.
You don't need to see all my stuff. Okay.
Yeah, it just feels like I can see people's underwear when they do that. You know what I mean? It's like, not literally see their underwear, but it's like that same sort of feeling where I'm like, I feel like I shouldn't be seeing this right now.
Okay, I turned up the volume. I hope that helps. I don't know if it'll work or not, but ask and you will maybe receive. Tater tot is something different. Yes, absolutely. All right. Angry Roach, good to see you. Yes, he is the OG victim, and he wants all the monies. All the monies.
Oh my God, he's so good at playing the victim.
Oh, I meant Savage Netslig. Sorry for the confusion.
Oh.
All right. Let's see here. It's because like I said hi to him and then I tagged and said, "Oh, I'm gonna bring you in," and like it probably, and then I corrected and said, "Oh, it's Savage," and then yeah, so yeah. Sorry, I feel silly. Okay. Lily 10 Shoes. Hello. All right, let's see. My bad. All right. So how are you, by the way, before we get started?
You know, I'm all right.
Awesome. I'm gonna say awesome.
Yeah.
Everything's great.
Okay.
Okay.
Everything's awesome.
All right. Hopefully this sounds better. If not, I don't know what to do.
So this one says on September 12th, 2023 at 5:48 a.m., I was swatted by an anonymous false domestic violence call. And
so I did see that. The reason why I told you that story about Charla previously is because that date seems to match a certain time where he was served some paperwork that is an RO.
Is that so was he swatted or was he
day.
served with paperwork?
From my understanding, and again, this is my understanding, he was served with paperwork as a RO. And not only him, but at least 2 other creators.
Okay.
BKC,
See, there's a lot of
Beta Potato. And I don't know about Megan yet. We'll find out. But it just so happens that this coincides on the same time period. Now, again, like it's one of those things where it reminds me of Shanny for Christ when somebody called a wellness check because they were fighting and screaming and there's children in the house and it was really awful. And she told everybody she had been swatted. But like legit, like there was stuff going on and the neighbors were like, get this woman out of here. You know, it kind of reminds me of that sort of thing where people misuse that word swatted. Katie Joy has misused the word swatted. He is using the misusing the word swatted.
Yes.
A lot of people are. And it's very, very frustrating. No, this woman named Charla, who they dug up on Facebook and then allocated her groups and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she writes paragraphs and paragraphs and paragraphs trying to defend herself. And then they poke at her with sticks. And then, well, that didn't work out very well. Steve made 13 videos against this woman. 13 videos against this woman. This woman that does not have a YouTube channel. And he also put on his Twitter, Charla's Tears. But he made 13 videos within 1 month about this woman. And my thing is like, if you're making videos about somebody on YouTube, like isn't it more ethical to do it if they also have a channel? And
yes.
Like, isn't that like a thing that like we all kind of know about?
Yes. Yeah. Like, or if they, some type of social media and usually either like a YouTube or the Twitter, and I'm not going to say X, I'm just going to say Twitter. Facebook, if they have like a huge following on Facebook, like how big was, and even then it's like
not
if
big,
it's
not big. She has a small blog and a small like internet presence. It's pretty small, relatively small.
Even then, I feel like max maybe like 3 videos if it's like somebody who has like a huge following on another platform and like you know what I mean, like, but yeah. Right.
So served doesn't necessarily mean that it's sticking, by the way. Just so you know. Now Steve claims that he has been hacked. He claims that somebody has done some sort of financial fraud in his name. And he's sort of been spamming screenshots of that on Twitter. And if that's true, it's really terrible and awful, but he's automatically assigning it to Charla and saying, Charla did this. And not only that, but the sister wives dug up an old post on Facebook, which had different people that interacted with Charla, and it was sort of a dog pile. And lo and behold, an estranged stepdaughter was on there, and they dug that person up and reached out. That stepdaughter's LGBTQ member. Mind you, Charla left fundamental like I don't know if it's Independent Baptist or Quiverful. I can't remember which one, or is it the Goddard? I think it's the Goddards. But one of those groups, she left one of those groups. And so like, you can imagine that there's probably hard feelings by somebody that's LGBTQ and somebody that's like,
Yeah.
Climbing out of Fundyville. So there's got to be like really hard feelings. And I feel like messing with that is a huge overstep. So they dug something up from 5 years ago and reached out. Not only did they reach out, they don't tell people that on the internet there's a lot of weirdos and you probably should use a screen name. They put her name all out there and stuff. Like they tell everybody what her profession is, which is psychology. And I can only assume that it's not clinical because she says and confirms to Steve, he goes, "She's a psychopath, right?" And she goes, "Yeah." And so I can only guess that she's probably not clinical and probably in some other field like research or business or something. Because you can do a few things with psychology. Everybody thinks you're a therapist. Not necessarily. So he reaches out to your family members. I am against that. I know that some people did that to Darth Dawkins. I think that's pretty nasty. Now, Shani for Christ reached out to other people on her own behalf or not Shani for Christ. Shani's mom reached out to people on her own.
That's different if you're not like reporting back. But yeah,
Right.
That was like Katie Joy did that shit too. It's like, what is and she's like, "Oh, what does she call herself? A journalist." Right?
Yeah, Katie Joy calls herself a journalist.
Which, okay, like to be fair, I did like one time I got like interviewed by like a New York Times reporter because I was at like a protest for school shooting, long story. And that reporter like didn't like to confirm the spelling of my name had reached out to my brother because he is an easier person just to find online. And like that was like a legitimate reporter for the New York Times that like just reached out to my brother to confirm, not like, "Oh, and what do you feel about this?" You know what I mean? Like that's so like that's not, even if she was a legitimate reporter, that's not a thing that you do. Like even if these people were journalists, that's not
right. She keeps getting sued, Katie Joy. She keeps getting sued because she's wild on the things that she says,
and rightly so.
Right. And I think that there's people that are detractors for Katie Joy that are actually fairly reasonable people. Unfortunately, they're drowned out by maniacs. People that just are, "I'm a victim. I'm the chief victim."
My God,
these sort of people. And so
Yes.
unfortunately, any good criticism gets drowned out because there's a bunch of weirdos running around. By weirdos, I mean like they're posting pictures of her kid, and they're just really overstretching. They're complaining about if she built a deck on her house or not, like just weird stuff constantly. They're always overstretching. It's just odd. It's odd. Anyway, and then also, mind you, with the Charlotte person, Steve also goes out and reaches out to somebody else who left Fundyville. I'll just call it that. And I think for sure, I know hers was the Quiverful movement. Reaches out to her and she just goes, "Nope," kind of throws that woman under the bus. "I don't talk to people." In fact, she says, "I don't talk to people that escape these cults because they're unhealthy and needy." Like you. Like, I mean, like you. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. To be fair, everybody in the U.S. can be a quote-unquote reporter if that's what you do. It's a First Amendment thing. Yeah. And again, like these are opinions of the situation, not necessarily hard fact, because I think like, this is me gathering from what has been put out here and trying to figure out what's going on. You're welcome to search for the facts on your own. It's just that Steve deleted a lot of it on the Twitter. So there's
But he doesn't delete tweets. Okay.
totally not. Totally not.
Like
Yeah.
as a rule, like he does.
Mm.
Hey, I was gonna ask you though. Yeah, I'm actually gonna switch cameras for just a second and see if it'll let me. You don't mind my my messy house.
Uh-oh. Device not connected. Okay, well you switched cameras, but now I can't show you. Oh, can I show you? Add, there we go.
Oh,
Welcome back.
yeah, it like kicked me for some reason, and then whatever. I won't try that again. I'll send you the picture of my pretty artwork. I was gonna ask Steve if he needed a new business partner.
Oh, I know what artwork you're gonna send me.
You
I know.
don't.
I already know.
How?
I know you.
No, you don't. I think I know what you think, but it's about that bad. It isn't
Where
that.
are you sending me? I don't even see it.
Discord. Yeah, I haven't sent it yet. I have to take an actual picture of it because I couldn't show it on camera.
Okay.
Here. 10 seconds.
All right. Well, while you're getting your picture, folks in the chat, what do you guys consider swatting? Is calling the cops on someone on the internet swatting?
No.
And I think calling the cops falsely is pretty heinous, if it's,
Yes.
But I thought swatting was a particular sort of form that we really kind of saw come alive in the gaming thing. And I think it should be a felony.
Yes.
I think it is now, isn't it? I think it's a felony to swat people.
I think in a lot of states it is. I don't know if it is a federal felony, but yeah, so my understanding of swatting is that it is calling and reporting, usually, not specifically, but usually in the form of like pretending to self-report on a crime that would require the SWAT team. So like a lot of times I'm like laughing out of like nervousness, but like a lot of times it's like they call up and report that they are the perpetrator of like a family annihilation type situation or that kind of thing. Yeah, do you think Steve would hire me?
Steve, do you need an eagle? America. I mean, Steve is going to Rumble to bash trans folks, so like I figure like that same crowd will want a good America kind of logo,
I mean, they got the Full Throttle energy drinks like back in stock today. I saw them at the store. I sent Simos a picture earlier, but it has like an eagle on it, and I suck at drawing birds, so I was like, let me try to see you,
America. All right. So let's see. Spooky says it ain't swatting if the door isn't kicked in. Lono says swatting is getting a SWAT team to bust down your door. Yeah, usually it's somebody lying that's saying somebody's being held. And it's like a dire situation. It's not like, oh, these two people are arguing. It's pretty serious. Like they'll lie and say some serious, terrible things. It's awful.
Yes.
And it can get somebody killed. I mean, we see mistakes. Yeah. All you have to do is not think and have your pants sort of fall down. That one guy, his pants fell down a little bit, and I don't know what he was thinking, but people are freaking out and they do weird things. And he literally just was like, oh, well, I can't crawl to you and listen to all your varied, extreme screaming instructions with my pants falling down. And he pulls up his pants and boom, gone. And then it turns out he had nothing on him, like nothing. Like, but they don't know, right? So they're trained to be like, if he reaches for something, that's it.
He literally just wasn't wearing a belt and had like trousers that he'd like lost a little bit of weight or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And so like it's really easy for it to go awry. Big dogs. I have a big dog. That would be terrifying for me. I have a big dog. Like, so like it's one of those things where not only is it awful and scary and stuff like that and puts your life at risk, it puts animals' lives at risk, children's life at risk, all sorts of things. Anybody that's in the house.
Not even necessarily your house. I've heard it where people were killed where they went to the wrong address even. It wasn't
Gosh, can
even
you
the
imagine?
aspect of the person that they were trying to swat. It was some other guy.
Right, right. And that is just horrific. It's scary. And so, like, I have to say, like, I am particular with certain words and phrases being used. And Steve likes to use extra victimy words. So um, he'll compare somebody, he was comparing Charla sending him DMs to the R word.
Yeah, no.
You know, like that like no means no. And he compared to what we would say is either a disturbance issue or, you know, maybe a serving, we're not sure which, to swatting. And so I think Cheshire actually dug in. So like the timing of this is really interesting because I know that somebody's trying to, like, you know, go, hey, you can't talk about me anymore. And he had to pull his videos down. And then I think he's saying that he's going to serve back that other person, but I don't think you can. I think it's a two-way street. When someone files an RO, I don't think you can just go, RO you back. Like, I don't think it works that way, but I don't know. Like, I'm no expert, so.
Depending on the state, I think, but yeah, and I'm not.
Right. So, I don't
Yeah,
know.
take my awful picture off.
America.
America.
All right.
Simon said
So,
it made him thirsty.
you feel thirsty now? Okay.
That's what Simon said.
All right. So I think we all kind of agree that a swatting is what Daryl says. Special weapons, tactics to get in the door. And it's pretty scary and frightening. It's not like, hey, we heard that you guys were arguing, knock, 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 knock. Or hey, here's some papers we have to serve you, or, you know, whatever it is, you know. And so it's
that's like, okay, you called the cops on me, and like I still like you shouldn't call the cops on people, like
absolutely
without
not.
like unless there's like legitimately like a reason where you think somebody's in danger or
So
something
let's
like
say somebody's driving in the car completely intoxicated, and they have two kids that they're picking up from school, and they're borked out of their mind, and they seem to be high and drunk or both. And they're driving erratically and manically and ha 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 ha. And as soon as they get to the school parking lot, they throw up on the ground and they're picking up that kid. And they hit the car in front of them and drive away. If you called the cops, say, on that person, Revelation News, for that incident, I don't think you're wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong, because that is endangering a child, and that's a totally different situation, and it's in your face. I mean, that is in your face. Driving under the influence is in your face. So calling on a drunk or involved, you know, if it's very overt stuff like that, I can get it. Like, I can get it. But like, if it's, oh, you hurt my feelings. Oh, you beat me at CS:GO. Like that's some bullshit.
That's some bullshit. The last time I called the cops on somebody, I was driving home and it was very late at night, and there was a group of teenagers that were obviously drunkly walking along a highway that did not have a shoulder, and were like stumbling into the highway, and I had to like swerve to not hit them. And I debated, and I decided to call the police to like make sure that those kids did not get hit by a car.
Right.
Not like because they were in danger, and I was concerned that somebody could lose their life if I didn't call the authorities. Like, you don't call the authorities to put somebody's life in danger. Like,
no,
that's
definitely not. And or to just cause like malicious mayhem just for fun or whatever the reason is. It's just system. And also it's taking away from calls that they could actually be on. They could be saving lives. Do you know how many? So I almost became a 911 operator, believe it or not. And that's because I can compartmentalize. And that's something that I have some weird ability to do. But I did a ride along, so to speak, and I listened to calls, and one call, I wouldn't say one call after call after call after call after call after call are OD calls. And I live in a big city in SoCal. Tons of OD calls. And it was very eye-opening how many were that. Like the majority, it felt like. And with those, it is protocol to send the cop first because they're the fastest. They can shoot through. They can shoot through traffic, whoop, and just everybody has to move out of the way. They move the fastest, the quickest. They're all over the place already, and so the first person that will show up. And we have rules against California that we can't go after you for drugs if we're trying to save your life. That's not going to happen.
Good.
So they show up. I know that was a problem in Florida and some other states.
Mhm.
They will show up to save lives, and they have Narcan, and they'll pop you with that, and then the paramedics can come and take you to get some help. But you have to be careful with that. Just a PSA: if you know somebody that does OD and you use that on them, they might pop up and say they're fine and then fall over 30 minutes later because
Yes.
it blocks the receptors for only so long. And then all of a
That's what I
sudden,
was gonna say.
yeah, it's bad news. But anyway, the point is that those cops could be doing that sort of thing, you know? So like I just feel like it, unneeded, unwarranted, you know, visits with cops is you're harming other people.
Yeah.
And
You're right. They could
yeah.
they could be out saving someone else's life. Yeah.
No, Steve says that Charlotte swatted him. He also says that she did like all these things like trying to like access passwords and all sorts of things like that. So yeah.
And 4 armed police abruptly pounded on my door.
All police are armed by default. That's nothing new.
In the US, yeah.
like we're armed police. They got handguns at their side.
You live in America. That's all police.
Oh my gosh.
By a female report.
And that's like half of security guards.
Reporting party.
Yeah.
I have the event report and the threat of it prior to the swatting, and still YouTube creators could not help me. So this is absurd. And we went through a little bit more detail on Friday about why this is just kind of an absurd statement to have made and is kind of nonsensical. But I'm going to go through it really, really quick here. At 5:48 a.m., I was swatted by an anonymous false domestic violence call.
Okay. So that is different than the serving thing. So that's very specific. Anonymous domestic violence call. So now you got a question, like, who lives with Steve? Well, Kino does, right? So and we know who Kino is because Kino's in the chats and everything going, hi guys. And so he, you know, Kino's couch and whatnot.
A domestic violence call is very unlikely to engage SWAT, specifically because SWAT deals with armed bomb threats, hostile.
Yeah. So domestic violence calls often will end in people being removed, though. So that can happen sometimes if they think that you're in the house together. I know that mandatory Colorado has to remove you. In California, not so much. In California, they don't have to. They can actually figure out what's going on. But if this was Colorado, they would have been pulling someone out of the house.
In
like,
Missouri, I know they have like a rule
situations.
where it's like they can't, like, it's like they won't force you to separate, but then if they're like brought into the situation again within 12 hours, like both
Right.
parties get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Lono says Kino did an interview talking about this and said that she was not in the house. She is pretty active and out quite a bit in the evening and stuff like that. So I don't know. What are you watching, Steve? And just questions. So many questions.
Incredibly dangerous stuff. Right, so just a general domestic violence call would not engage SWAT. For armed police, all police
I hate to say, but the Canadian's right.
in America are
Okay, I'm gonna like give I will say, like, as somebody who has mental health issues and has had like the police called on them in situations that like the police were not warranted, it can be a life-threatening situation even if it isn't SWAT. And I just like I get what she's saying, that like these are just they're just beat cops. Like, they're not anything special. But at the same time, in America, mentally ill people, people of color, different like groups of people are killed oftentimes by beat cops.
Right,
So,
right. I was helping a person I know who had threatened to self-delete,
mhm.
and I was the closest person to their house, so I drove over. It was absolutely terrifying. And another person called the cops, and it was a frightening experience because the person who wanted to self-delete owned guns, but did not have them in hand when I came in. And they were alive. But the first thing that the cops do is they see, like, you know, do you have guns or not? And if you do, the situation's already escalated. So if you're a gun owner and they have to come in to a domestic violence call or a self-deletion call, they happen to know that they are at higher risk to be fired upon. So they are more on edge. And so, like, when they came to the door, they had their hand on their gun. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, it's to the side like a lot of cops do. It was like literally hand on there. And that was, and the first thing they asked me is, where is it? Where's the firearms? Right away. The first thing. And it was unnerving, and I couldn't get an answer because this wasn't my house, and I'm trying, and they're yelling at me and stuff. And so already this situation's escalated, and that's just for them trying to help, but they have to protect themselves, right? So, like, by them being like hypersensitive, like, I need to protect myself, and, you know, the situation just immediately escalates, even if it's a help call. And it's just one of those things. It's, you know, you gotta be careful.
I accidentally tripped an alarm one time when I was doing housekeeping, and like came around the corner and there were like police with pistols drawn, and it was like the most, I luckily had an empty bladder because there would have been urine all over the floor. Like, it was terrifying. Like, and I'm sure it was terrifying for them too, because they came into their house and they heard somebody clunking around in the back, and they could tell that the homeowners weren't there, and they, you know what I mean? Like, it was terrifying for everybody involved.
It's traumatic. It's traumatic for everybody. Absolutely. And so, Titan says, leave chess alone. I will leave chess alone. About the same time you will say Antangelo gets free reign in chats everywhere. That's how that works.
Now, children. No, wait, I'm not here as a neutral party. Never mind, duke it out.
No, I'm just explaining, like, that's how strongly I feel about it. And I understand why you feel strongly about what you feel. So, what she did to my friend, plural, or friends, plural, I feel incredibly strong about that. She's worse. She's worse than Steve, arguably. Or pretty close. And then I would say Steve, or Reds is probably worse than both of them. I would actually classify them in an order. So yeah, I've mostly left her alone, but she weighed in, and I found it fascinating and hypocritical. Now you have something to say. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a big difference between the police are breaking in, guns drawn, instead of the police had weapons. It's like, yeah, of course they did. Abruptly pounded on my door. They knocked. You know what SWAT doesn't do? SWAT doesn't knock. That's not a.
They did a cop knock. You know. Cop knock.
They're scary knocks. They're not scary knocks. They are. Like,
yeah.
And then if you have a dog, your dog's gonna be like, and you're like, oh my God.
Yes.
It's just all scary. Yeah. So I mean, I understand being startled. Like, I understand, because I was being shouted at and screamed at with a cop with their hand on it. I understand how scary it is. It's startling, and you start to shake. Your hands shake and tremble, and you're trying to, like, be like, I'm doing what you're telling me to do.
A thing that
please don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me.
Yeah. Is like, shoot first, ask questions later. Yeah. A female reporting party. So this is just a weird sentence. What he means is the person who called in the false domestic violence report was a female.
I don't know if they volunteer that information. I'd be quite surprised in California if they would volunteer that information.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. That's sus a little bit to me.
It might be something that you could get like with a
Mhm.
freedom of information, but
Mhm.
you probably have to request that.
They don't out the neighbor that calls too. Like, so like say if it's a neighbor calling you, they don't
Yeah.
go, oh,
No,
you
it'll
know,
just say a neighbor.
Bob and 2B over here.
And
Called.
usually it won't even say like a neighbor. It'll say like what is it, like an occupant of a neighboring residence. So it's like, I don't know, could have just been like somebody that your neighbor had over for dinner. Like, who knows?
Yep.
So
They're not gonna say.
according to the police. I have the event report, meaning the police report number, and the threat of it prior to the swatting.
So, fun fact, I didn't dig up the police report. I actually try not to really dig into that stuff. But if you're going to put it out there, I'm going to watch.
Which, from best I can tell, was there was a YouTube channel that was named something about Steven swatting. And still YouTube creators could not help me. The fuck does he want YouTube to do about it? So from...
Why would YouTube have anything to do with this? First of all, the person that he's saying it came from, well, at least that's the shade that he was throwing on Twitter, isn't even really on YouTube.
Yeah.
Unless he means like some weird fan that's gone like, woo-hoo, you know. But
what is this? The like swatting Steve, I don't, what was she saying there right before you paused?
Okay, let me go back.
There was a channel that...
Oh, yes, there was a channel that referred to the thing, I guess is what she's saying.
Oh, okay.
And still YouTube creators could not help me. The fuck does he want YouTube to do about it? So from the best I can tell is Steve wants...
I mean, they can take down that channel. That's all they can really do, right? Just yeah, which is fair. Like if there's a channel that like legit... I have a theory about the people that made that channel, by the way. I think they're close to him, but that's just a guess. I have a theory.
Thinks that he's being threatened or extorted for his YouTube channel, but I don't know what extorted would look like. What do they want from you? Like that's how...
Hasn't he claimed that he's been extorted before? I remember there was this argument with Padme the cat and that Nikki gal, and something about arguing about money and that they didn't care if somebody self-deleted or not. And they're like, no, I won't deliver the money. He seems to have these problems. I don't know what's happening.
How extortion works. Now, if somebody's reporting your videos that you may or may not have done 25 hours yourself directly of streams about them, and they're calling out for privacy after you...
Quit booming your mic. Quit it. Quit it. Get Cheshire. Get yourself a mic stand. You can get one for like $15. I don't care if you get it at a music store. I don't care if you get it at Amazon. Raise it up from the desk. Maybe put a little bit of those, whatever you call those suspension things that they have if you really want to get fancy. But even just on the stand, every time you slam on that desk, boom, it is like an earthquake. It is like, is this the big one? Is this it? San Andreas Fault, take me, you know, no more me, because I'm a bae now.
Trying to contact their family.
Like forgetting and putting both headphones in, and I'm like, oh no, wait, I can't.
Facebook.
Yeah, we've discussed that she's really hard to watch because of the booming. And it's been an ongoing thing. I say for about 2 years at least.
At least a year. Yeah, at least 2 years. Yeah.
Has anybody told you to fix that?
I want to know when she got this haircut though. How new is the haircut?
You know, she kind of experimented with something kind of like this with a short version of it some time ago, kind of similar. And then this has grown out since, and then the one-sided thing. So I think she just wants to be cool or whatever, you know, like I don't really care. Like,
I mean, I had it first. I had it like what, 5 years ago, something like that. Because I had the mohawk that like went into the undercut, and then it went back to a mohawk for a while.
Right. I tend to vary. Sometimes I have short hair, sometimes I have long hair. I don't usually go past my shoulder though. I think that's too much. But right now I'm short, and because I was having some issues, I have some autoimmune issues and stuff like that, and because I was having some issues with my hairdo, and I've been also really sensitive to hair dye, where I feel like my scalp's burning on fire. I have stopped dyeing my hair for now, and I am so gray. I'm so silver.
So am I. I was just telling Mathfig about this the other day, that I think of it as glitter. If I just think of it as glitter, you know. Yeah, I think she looks good. Titan says she's lost weight. I think it looks good. I think she went a little bit high on the sides on the haircut. I think if she maybe a centimeter wider, it would look a little bit better, just frame her face a little bit better. But I understand that that's kind of a hard.
I get it.
I think
People
it looks
want to
good.
do fun things, be a little bit rock and roll, you know.
Yes, definitely. I'm down for it. I loved it when I had that haircut, and I'm thinking about going back.
That's not false, nor is that whether or not YouTube decides to follow through with it or not. That's not a false report. It's also not a false flag. I don't know what that would have to do with the swatting, though, or what you're being extorted over. This is the same as when he accused me of blackmail. It's like, no, you don't understand. For people to be doing this, they have to be demanding something from you.
Yeah.
Who's demanding what from you? Either.
That's what you were talking about, is blackmail. Or no, you were talking about before that, the extortion with the supposedly the cash and all of that shit. Yeah?
I don't know what it was. It was this weird... and I have so many screenshots from so many weird things, so I'd have to dig it up somewhere. But it's this weird encounter where he starts fighting with Nikki, who used to be on That Time of the Month with Cheshire and Manya. And Nikki's like, just go away, Steve, blah, blah, blah. And then mentions some incident with money and that she wouldn't deliver it. And then he shows a screenshot of somebody hysterically going, you don't want me to put all the information out. Ah! And it's talking about self-deletion. It's talking about I hope your kids get it's saying that they want some sort of money. It was the most bizarre thing. And he posted, and he goes, you don't care about people wanting to, self-delete. And it was the weirdest thread I've ever seen. None of it makes a whole lot of sense. Everybody was looking at sideways going, what deep, weird stuff are you involved in? And I wouldn't comment on it, except it's all over Twitter. And then he's saying, you don't care about victims. And then he puts this person's hysterical, weird tweet. And I still want to know how, if she was to comply, she has nothing to do with this person, I'm guessing. If she was to comply, why would that matter? It's just I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It was a very weird interaction, and I still think that one. I'll show you that screenshot sometime. That whole thread was bizarre.
Either way, I'm going to show you guys what swatting is, and you can see if it matches.
Okay, the way that she said that.
Okay, she's showing what it actually looks like. Fair enough.
Been swatted. You're getting swatted.
I have a question. Where is this guy? He looks like he's in a workplace, and he's going, we are being swatted. They're clearing rooms. So it's like he's in a building, which is interesting. I just find that interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Swatted, what in the world? If you're part of a hybrid team, you need to try this.
Listen, I can explain, y'all. I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this through real quick.
Timing. It's you're fine.
No. The reason why I can't block ads anymore is YouTube says we don't allow ad blockers anymore, and it will block me from playing videos. My ad blocker's being blocked.
Yeah.
It will not. So I had to take the ad blocker off, and now I'm this. So yeah. Let's see. So it's playing through. Skip ads. Yeah, love that button.
Yes.
So, unfortunately, there's no commercial breaks in incidences like this.
Yeah. He does not get a commercial break.
Back.
I mean, he's a little bit somewhat lucky that he realized that it was coming and was like, oh, they're clearing rooms. Because a lot of times
Right.
people have their headphones on, the volume turned up, like they don't, they're
Right.
in the front room maybe, they have curtains, like, sorry, I just said that like a total Midwesterner.
Curtains. Do you say hanger or hanger?
Hanger.
Okay. Okay. Kind of in between.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's because I grew up singing hanger. Like that's I have taught myself not to quite say it that way, but yeah.
It's funny. I meet people from the Midwest that say it that way, but I also meet people with speech impediments that say that way too. So I'll never know if the missing G is that or the other. I never know. So
Me, it's just Midwest.
By the way, the Midwest I thought would be safer than it actually is. I was looking at statistics. It's not always safe. Anyway.
Okay, we'll talk about it some other time. This is terrifying. This is terrifying.
I would throw up. I'd be just. I'd be like, I'd probably have a heart attack and die.
Yeah. There would be some type of bodily fluids on the floor for sure if that happened to me.
That is swatting.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So when you tell the internet you got swatted, this is what people are expecting to hear and see. Abruptly pounded on my door. So, fun fact.
She is right there, though. Like,
can you imagine Steve? He's like, I was driving down the road and this cop pulled me over and then swatted me.
He swatted me.
Like, what? What?
No, they asked for your license and registration, Steve.
Jeez. Just tell him that you're traveling. It works out.
Yeah.
He actually posted it. He posted the police report. Let's see if it reads like literally anything we've seen. This is what a swatting attempt looks like. Priority 3 means immediate response. Domestic violence calls are usually some of the most dangerous. Where is hashtag without a crystal ball? Katie Joy.
Oh my God. He's invoking. Oh my God.
Any chance he gets, especially if it's linked to victimhood, he's going to somehow attach it to Katie. Any chance he gets.
Oh my God.
Oh, look at this excellent screenshot opportunity. I love it.
That is good. That is
really good. Yeah.
Where is Katie Joy's event record of something that never happened? She was not swatted. I was. So let's read it. Event number.
So Katie also claims swatting and is also incorrect in misusing the word. And when she was called out on it, she's like, "Well, it wasn't that." And she really backtracked. It was ridiculous.
Address blocked out. Final type is listed as general disturbance. So this is not like the final type is not what it was called in as. It's what the police clear the area as. Right? Detail completed. Then it says like names and unit and time dispatch. The time matches up. Fine, whatever. Case number assigned to. There's no fucking assignments to anything. And here we go. Reporting party, RP, advised she can hear arguing and banging at the address given. Nothing else, nothing seen, only can hear. Several past domestic violent issues at apartment. Reporting party believes female at location had kicked a male out, but...
So I have a question. Why are there several instances listed? Is this not the first time? I've got a lot of questions there. Of course, I'll let Cheshire dig for that. I'm not gonna like.
She believes the male came back. Mobile update, unit number, blah, blah, blah. Making contact at the location. We made contact with Steve. He advised he is alone. Police wrote down, said, I knocked on the screen door and was greeted by Steve. We asked Steve if everything was okay, to which he said it was and was alone. We asked Steve if he could come out of his home to speak with us, which he declined and said he was fine. Steve then shut the door on us.
You were looking.
Okay, so Steve shuts the door on them and is like, enough. Which, I mean, you don't have to invite the cops in. Like, it's generally yeah. I would if I don't have to have the cops in, I'm not gonna invite them in myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also say if they ask to come in and you don't want to be the person who like shuts the door in their face, but you also don't want to let them in. What I have done in the past is I've just said I'll step out.
Right. Yeah, that's a way
and
of
you
doing
still,
it too.
even if you step out, you don't have to answer any of their questions. Like that's
Right. If they say, like if they say, mind if I have a look around, always say no.
I say I do mind.
If you get arrested and they read your rights or they haven't yet, sometimes they delay it. I wonder why. Just remember that part of reading your rights is anything that you say can be used against you. They never say we'll help you out. We'll sort this out.
Right.
Anything that can be used against you. So
they're not going to use it in your favor.
Definitely not. So I mean, even lawyers, watch any of the lawyers, the YouTube lawyers, they will all tell you shut your mouth if you've ever like offer as little as possible. I mean, that's generally the case.
You can just shut the door on SWAT. that's how that works, right?
Yeah, you cannot shut the door on SWAT. That's not going to work out. And also,
you do have to present identification in some instances, or at least identify yourself. But yeah.
Right.
You don't have to answer any other questions.
I do mind. I do give I do not I do not give my consent.
Yeah.
Right? Officers did not see anyone else inside or outside. Also, number 415 was current in the area. Call disposition set, blah, blah, blah. Event closed, blah, blah, blah. Date. But I don't know. Does this sound anything like SWAT or like any of this?
A police officer lying? That's never happened, Lono. Yeah. They can lie sometimes, depending. That's why I think these cameras are really a good idea. I think, but I mean, nothing's perfect. Things can get altered there too. But yeah, it depends on the state. Yours no longer requires ID. Well, that's good to know.
That's good. Yeah. I know like in Missouri, you have to identify yourself, as in you have to say like, this is the person that I am. And sometimes it's like they might need your date of birth to identify you if you have like a common name. They can require like a photo ID if you're operating a vehicle, and then like a couple of other circumstances where they like you have to have identification. But yeah, if you're just like walking down the street and a cop pulls you over, in Missouri, you have to tell them your name, possibly birth date, and nothing else. Like that's, yeah, you do not have to answer any questions in a lot of cases.
So interestingly enough, they went to Steve's place, cleared Steve's place, and said that they could hear.
Fast forward a little bit.
This shit happening in the area. Oh, priority when assigned 3. Okay, well.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's look it up. Found it. California.
I disagree. Domestic violences have the highest. Domestic violence calls have the highest amount of cops going away. We'll put it that way.
Oh, okay. Well,
not counting highway patrol, or trooper.
Yeah. But yeah.
See what that means. Following is an excerpt of Expert Witness and the Civilian's Guide to Effective Crime Reporting, which introduces civilians to what happens behind the scenes when the police answers a call. Priority 3, these are the lowest priority calls that a department will respond to. And
so if it's a priority 3, it's not like someone's in imminent danger.
Right.
It's more like they're really loud and they're yelling, or the music's really loud,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
They will have the longest wait time, sometimes in excess of 5 hours. Priority 3 calls are those where life or property is not at risk, and an immediate police response will not likely prevent.
So it's not that big of a deal. So when they knocked on the door, they probably did the police knock that we talked about, but it's not swatting.
Yeah.
Only the new Sleep Number Smart.
Oh my gosh, make that stop.
Meg, it's Jack.
It just assaults my ears.
Mm-hmm.
I hate how people make advertising so loud stuff. Okay, so he gets a call, and it is either a mistake or whatever happened stopped happening. So, but anyway, wait, there's more. So EKC decides to weigh in.
Okay.
Who's the new PR person? And so why not watch this? Let's see. Now she takes forever, apparently. Ooh, I do like to watch her chat though, because Megan the Betrayer's in there. And Kino's in there. Look at that. Kino's in there. And that's the roommate. Hang on, let me stop sharing for a second. I gotta reload. Reloading. Whoop. I'll skip her music. All right. All right. Sharing again. Do. Let's see.
Party. I have the event report and the threat of it prior to the spotting.
Oh, she's reviewing the video. Oh, a review of a review of a review.
Yes.
I don't know about this.
Videoception.
I'm just interested in what she has to say. I haven't watched
I
it yet.
love Reviewception. It's my favorite.
We're going to go on with it, but I'm going to speed it up. Let's see. Playback speed 125 at least. Let's see.
Two creators could not help me. So
yeah, YouTube's not going to
This is absurd. And we went through a little bit more detail on Friday about why this is.
Yeah. And since I have the weekend off, I'm indulging in a cocktail. I've come to find out that my body doesn't like to drink once it gets past like 6 to 8 p.m. But during the day, I'm a fan. So it's really fun.
It's just kind of an absurd statement to have made and is kind of nonsensical. But I'm going to go through it really, really quick here. At 5:48 a.m., I was swatted by an anonymous false domestic violence call. A domestic violence call is very unlikely to engage SWAT, specifically because SWAT deals with armed bomb threats, armed hostage situations, incredibly dangerous.
Well, if the domestic incidents call involves the abuser in possession of a firearm, maybe not SWAT. I mean, I don't know. I think that that's something that would be considered. No?
Well, it wasn't here though.
Right. So that is considered, generally speaking. And we talked about that earlier, how like if it's a self-deletion incident or a domestic violence incident, that would be the case. But that was neither one of those, right? So it was more like a noise complaint.
Right. Yeah. That wasn't, it does not sound like that was the issue here.
So if it was one of those higher escalated issues, they'd be like, where's your gun? Like right away, they would be trying to know where it is and get you away from it.
They would be like, step out, do you have any weapons? Like right away. They would not be politely knocking, and
they do it before they enter, before they do anything at the door.
Yeah. They would be shouting at the door.
But domestic violence calls are absolutely like potentially very dangerous situations for all parties involved, including the officers or the responding with people, whatever. I mean, because you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know what kind of crazies you're walking into. You don't know who's. I mean, that's just assume that it's like a nothing call. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, yeah, all cops are ready for anything, but like it's like getting pulled over. I mean, anything could happen, but not everybody. The level of escalation is usually not that high.
Stuff. Yeah. Right. So just a general domestic violence call would not engage SWAT. For armed police, all police in America are armed. So there's a big difference between the police are breaking in guns drawn instead of the police had weapons.
I do think that for some incidences, they really need to have more people that are unarmed on staff.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Mixed in with the people that are armed, that are like maybe good at de-escalation, things like that.
I was just going to say, not even necessarily police, but that they could send in to these whatever like level 3 type situations where it's low, that
and it's an interesting thing because they can so they do call in a team for, like, we'll just use deletion as an example. They do have a special team for that, but they're so stretched thin that they usually don't come out. like they can't be on every call. There's not very many of them.
I will admit, I will agree that she does have a point. Like, to point out that the police are armed is kind of an odd thing to point out in America, because they're all fucking armed. You know, like they have tanks and shit. Of course, they have a lot of guns at their disposal, and they're always, in possession of.
EKC, I'm pretty sure a tank's not going to roll up. Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You never know. You never know, Spackle.
And I'm pretty sure Steve's white, and so like I hate to say this, but yes, even in California, if you're white, you're less at risk of an issue.
That is kind of a weird thing to point out. However,
and that's just about profiling. It's just unfortunate.
However, for armed police officers showing up at your door is something that's definitely worthy of pointing out. I mean, that's a big deal. And also, I want to point out too, like,
I think it's funny that they sent 4. They must have been really bored. He lives in an area, so like here in my area, they're busy. I don't think they'd send 4 for that sort of thing, but over there, they're probably bored because like he lives in the smelly Salton Sea area, right? So like they're probably just bored.
I don't know. Yeah, but it does. If they send 4, it does usually seem like they're bored, or they thought it was serious. But according to the report, it doesn't actually sound like they thought it was serious. So.
Yeah, it's low priority. So I don't know. That's interesting. You know what though? Sometimes you'll see one pull up, and the other one just happens to be on the beat, and they pull up behind you. That happens too.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, if that was kind of like that type of thing.
For her, that she doesn't have the same maybe causes of concern that we here in America have regarding our armed police officers. Because I'm guessing that maybe Canadian police officers.
I guess the same thing, that Canadian police officers are probably more chill than ours because they're not as well. They don't have the gun culture that we have. Like unfortunately.
They're not all armed.
Well, unfortunately for us in a way, because of the gun culture we have, the escalation's higher.
Armed, I believe.
Yeah, I
maybe only
had one run-in with the police when I was in Canada, and it was
not even Canada. I don't know, but I just want to point out how very privileged it is of her to mock these concerns of Americans that she'll never really have to contend with.
Oh, look, are you saying that they have is Mounties? Because I have a feeling that they actually have actual SWAT teams too in Canada.
No, so it was the actual police. It was not a SWAT team, but it was like a patrol car and it was a little bit tenuous, I would say. I feel like the thing that made it tenuous though was the fact that me and my buddy were Americans. Like, they're like, oh shit, here's some Americans. Americans are scary.
No, wild.
They might have brought guns across the border. We never know.
It's a big deal. Cops here are scary. I don't care who you are. I don't care why they're being called.
They're a little bit, yeah.
Cops are fucking scary, dude. Especially here in America. Like she just pointed out here how they're all armed. Exactly.
And under stress, like that wouldn't be as stressful. It is stressful, but it wouldn't be as stressful as like, where's the guns? Where's the guns? I have to tell you, under stress, like you'll, well, at least for me, it got my adrenaline going. And when your adrenaline goes and you're under that kind of stress, you're not always the clearest thinker, and so it escalates kind of fast.
Oh, I do not doubt that Steve felt as though he had been swatted. I don't doubt that. But Steve didn't get swatted. Yeah. Steve got the cops called.
Abruptly pounded on my door. They knocked.
By the way, I'm against people calling on people. Like, unless you know for sure, leave them alone. Always leave them alone.
We've said that a couple times in the stream, but yeah, it is worth it to reiterate. Like,
right.
Calling the cops on somebody, not okay. Also, not the same thing as swatting somebody. Like,
right.
I've never known police officers to just knock, like this.
Do you have police officers at your house often?
Never known a cop to do that. No. What I've known a police officer to do is more like, that's banging, that's pounding, that's what.
Agreed. I hate that I'm agreeing with either one of these people.
we call that a cop knock for a reason. Like that's in my generation, like that's a slang term where it's like, oh my God, like why did you cop knock on my door? Like that was scary as fuck.
Right. Like if I was the knock like that, you would yell at me.
Yeah. But it's like we call it that because like that is how police always knock. And
This
pretty
is
much
why I
any-
knock like this. I knock like this. like I make it real obvious I'm not a cop.
I do shave and a haircut as well. That's so funny.
I do something weird like that.
I always do shave and a haircut. I don't know why. I don't always do the 2 bits at the end, but
And I would rather not ring the doorbell. Like I don't know why. If I can, like I'll start to knock first. And I'm like, oh, the doorbell is so abrasive.
especially if they have dogs.
Right.
I ring the doorbell. If they have dogs.
One of my friends, if
all
you ring the doorbell, he goes, "Don't get the dogs involved." He yells, "Don't get the dogs involved. They're too late. They're involved."
my friends know that it's like a light knock, like 1 or 2 light knocks, and then if I know you're coming over, just open the door and come in, because otherwise it's just like too much. Like it's like I already know you're, just knock lightly and come in. Like announce yourself, you're fine.
Here I have to lock my door, right? Like there's some people that live in areas where they have the luxury of being like, oh, the door's unlocked. No, for me, I have to lock my door. Like there was a shooter in my building. Like, let's put it that way. Like that's kind of serious. Now, granted, he didn't shoot anybody, but he had a gun and he was waving it at residents, and it was a domestic violence dispute that got taken all the way through the hall and into the parking lot. And luckily nobody was killed. But like I got this text message going, don't leave your apartment. He's really close to you. I'm like, who? I'm like, what's going on? And sure enough, and what was weird is my dogs were freaking out and I had no clue. I was like, what? And because we have really good soundproofing and stuff. And yeah, so like things like that happen. Like stabbings close by happen. I live in the big city where there's a lot of action. I don't even live in the worst part of the city and there's a lot of action. So yeah, I have my door locked at all times.
Yeah.
But they do. They don't just like me gently knock. Fuck out of here.
SWAT doesn't knock.
I don't know from first-hand experience. I should point that out.
That's not a thing that SWAT does. SWAT is like shoot first, ask questions later. Yeah. By
all police are like that here. Not just SWAT. All police are like that here. They're all like first shoot first. We'll worry about the rest later.
I don't think that's true. I think that's unfair.
That is not true. That is
and I'm
not
going
true.
to be yelled at by some folks that are like on the more progressive side, maybe, but I've known a few cops and they have shared that they have even a fear of having to kill somebody. Like they don't want to.
Right.
You know?
Well, and like my understanding is it's like if you feel like your life is like being threatened, like in imminent danger, then like omit the danger.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like, oh, like just shoot. Like it's like if you can move into an area where you're out of the line of fire, you know, you saw that person maybe has a firearm, you're going to move into the area where you're out of the line of fire and reassess before you just shoot. Like
right. Well, I think that there's exceptions. We've seen trigger happy cops, you know, that it's just a traffic stop and someone reaches for their wallet, and almost always it's a minority and it's awful.
Yes.
And it's this escalation by default from profiling, you know. That's a problem. And that is a real problem. Yeah, that's not necessarily the case.
It does happen. It's not a high risk for Steve with a domestic welfare check like that.
I think if he was irate and screaming or like throwing things, then I think it'd escalate. But like he wasn't doing those things, so
or having some type of like mental health breakdown, like something like that. Like there are situations, you know, where
a big dog that gets loose that could happen.
Yeah.
But like I understand like we don't want them at our door for any reason like that, you know. Right. But I get it. But the EKC, come on.
Don't call the cops on people, but calling the cops on people is not the same as spotting them.
That is interesting because I was very critical of police when she was defending the Katie Joy, pulling the police report with the Katie Joy thing. And I'm very critical of police and police departments being shady. And then she was like defending police officers. And now she's like, all police officers are this way. Which is it, EKC? Which is it? Are they shady?
Yeah.
Or they need to be, or are they good people that need to be defended? Like, which one are they? The truth is that they could be both. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
That's what I was gonna say.
Lie about it, whatever. Okay, I digress. They don't all lie, but seriously, all police are pretty much trained to just shoot.
What?
No.
What?
What?
They are trained to defend themselves and to eliminate a threat. Like that's not like.
You need to talk to a police officer, ma'am. You really do. You really do. That is all. Wow.
I was gonna say, or like take a concealing
Female
carry,
reporting
but like she's not gonna do that.
Jeez. Now, once they shoot, they are trained to discharge the entire firearm, and ours are.
Ours, I mean, I've talked to like several police officers about it. They are trained to continue firing until the threat is neutralized.
Right. So usually they discharge the entire firearm.
Very often, and I wouldn't doubt if it was more often than not, but the training is that they continue firing until the threat is neutralized, which
but they're
is
also trained not to maim. So like everybody thinks, oh, maim somebody, you know, they're not trained. They're trained to hit you in the areas that count, you know.
They're trained to hit you at the center mass of the most visible of whatever is visible. So center mass of whatever is visible. Yeah.
Right. So like, you don't want to be in that situation. You
no, that's where all your vital organs are. Yeah.
Party. So this is just a weird sentence. What he means is the person who called in the false domestic violence report was a female, according to the police.
I'm surprised they would reveal that.
Probably because a female calling, I think, would just automatically, subconsciously elicit more of a urgent response, possibly out of those receivers.
I mean, is there like a whole cabal planning this UKC? Or are they just sitting around going, which out of the group would be best for this? Like who the fuck are these people?
I don't know why.
Is he assuming that it was a group, or are we assuming that it was one person and then we're trying to narrow it down by saying that it was a female person?
I think it's on the report that it's female. That's how that was established. And I was surprised that it was revealed that way. But then EKC is like, oh, well, probably a female would be more sympathetic. And it's like, wait, is there a group of people going, which one will be the representative? Like, what's happening?
Yeah. But who was this group of people that they chose from? Like, were there other options? I want to know who else was considered.
Did you get your information from Veda Potato? Because I heard she's quite experienced with cops.
I just feel like that could be the case, but I could be wrong on that. I mean, I guess not everyone is sexist, but everyone's sexist a little.
Everyone is
sexist. Meaning the police report.
Not everyone, but everyone a little bit.
And the threat of it prior to the swatting.
I will say I have a little bit of a bias for sure.
We said they had the report, not the number.
Which, from best I can tell, was there was a YouTube channel that was named something about Steven swatting. And still YouTube creators could not help me.
Wait, what?
The fuck does he want?
So if there's a YouTube channel named that, I would imagine you could do a police report. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Because
or at least
aren't keen on false calls. They're not keen on that at all.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is when I had the whole situation with them and people started showing up in my DMs and it was a little bit scary, I did call the police non-emergency number and I said, "Hey, FYI, there's this shit that's going on online, and like this is my name and my address and everything. So like, just in case, heads up on that." You know what I mean?
Right.
And they said that they appreciated it and they appreciated me calling on the non-emergency number. So just passing that along. But yeah, like that's, I forget what I was getting at, but.
Spooky says our police can be very sarcastic and it can be quite hurtful.
I believe it. They probably hurt your feelings a lot.
Spooky's very privileged in the UK. His cops don't shoot first and ask questions later.
Okay, but you know, I would say that British wit sometimes is like pretty sharp and might pierce you worse than a bullet. Just saying.
My heart, I can't take it. Daryl Forrest says, also, I think Australian. And Australia is a lot more rougher than I would say UK, from what I'm understanding from people. Never trust the police. They generally do not have your best interest in mind. We had a thing happen in Australia where the can I say that word? Where the popo defended themselves from an old lady walking in a frame. And by in a frame, you mean like a walker, what we call a walker over here.
Yeah.
That's awful.
That's
Put
wild.
down their walker, ma'am. Jeez.
I remember there was one in the U.S. and I think it might have been St. Louis, because it's the nearest city to me, where it was a man with a cane.
St. Louis has a high amount of murders too, so
not
like
the
they're
city
already
of
probably
St.
all
Louis.
in age.
Talking about East St. Louis.
Okay, and then there's the another one that has a lot of issues is Little Rock. Little Rock has a lot of issues. In Arkansas. I had no idea until I was looking up the numbers, and I was like, "What is going on in Little Rock?" Because you think the border towns, like, you know, I'm in San Diego, so it's a border town. You think that we be really rough around the edges, but actually, and being that TJ has, I think TJ, our neighboring Mexican city, has got, I think, number 2 in murders right now.
Yeah. Tijuana's a little scary. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was talking about to somebody that we used to go across the border as young people to drink before you're 21. So you'd be 18 years old and you could cross the border. It was no problem. Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is the 90s, you know, so like you could do this sort of thing. And it's just gotten so wild that now people are like, nope. And people used to go across the border to get their prescriptions filled, because what will cost you $60 in the United States will cost you $7 in Mexico.
Right.
And so, but now people are like, I don't know if I want to take the risk or not, you know? And so like, there's certain areas you can go and not go, but that is a little bit of rougher. So you think that my city, being that's neighboring and there's traffic going back and forth, like the movie Traffic, that you would see a lot more action, but we're not actually that high on the list, which is surprising. But
yeah. So
East
it is right on
YouTube to do about it. Yeah. So from the best I can tell is Steve thinks that he's being threatened or extorted for his.
Lol's Cow Production gives $2 just because he can. Well, thank you.
Aww.
YouTube channel, but I don't know what extorted would look like. What like
exactly? You don't know.
So do you know?
Tell us.
Do you know? Tell us, because we want to know. This is what we want to know about EKC.
Yeah.
We want to know. And while you're at it, can you ask about the duffel bag incident with Nikki and Padme Cat?
Yeah.
We want to know about that one too.
I need to know.
We want to know.
And you don't talk to Steve anymore, so you wouldn't know.
Did you just toss a cat to the side?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't looking.
You wouldn't even know if there was.
Well, she didn't throw it.
But something that he just interpreted that way. You don't know. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what's happened.
You don't know. You don't know anything. You don't know what swatting really is. I'm going to smear fingerprints. Well, I'm going to smear finger paint all over this painting so you can't even tell what the picture is anymore. Ha!
That's swatting.
And I get that. I get that. But you just assuming that it's all bullshit. I'm telling you right now.
I'm telling you that the timing with the RO and this were like right on point, and that was really weird. And granted, I found out about that days after.
That was false. It's wrong. It's not bullshit. Though I don't think that this was necessarily, at least not from when he made that tweet, there was no, I think, belief that this was in any way, shape, or form an extortion attempt for his YouTube channel. Possibly my opinion has changed since then, but that's not what it was at the time, I believe.
He has a very valuable channel, folks.
Yeah. the fuck is extorting Steve McRae? I'm sorry, but like, we extort him for what?
What? Well, it's those ketchup packets he keeps in the drawer and the Wonder Bread and American cheese pizzas. Clearly, he's living in luxury. Or that picture where he was on that picture where he's in the front yard with the unmowed lawn. And he's like, I'm living the dream, you know, and he's got a picture of like he's got Stone IPA, woo! And in his picture is his ugly feet and a trash can. Like,
oh my God, I remember.
He's living the
now.
life. Clearly.
I was like, oh my God, what is this picture? And then when you said his ugly feet, I was like, oh my God, the trash can.
Yeah, like you live in California, buddy. Like even in your area, which is shit, you could have walked over to some place, I don't know, that was prettier.
Maybe.
Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like somewhere close by. Anywhere close by.
That's a good point. Simon says maybe it was his fridge. He is a hobo after all.
Oh my gosh. We're so
I
bad.
think what this call was an attempt at confirming Steve's address.
What?
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 Wait, what?
What? Oh, I see what she's working at. She's working at that was done to confirm his address so that he could be served with the paper. And you know how I thought it was okay. I see what she's working at.
Okay, explain it to me because
She can't say this directly because of same reasons, right? She's limited on what she can say. But I think what she's hinting at is that in order to be served, and if he's avoiding service, they have to figure out if he's actually at that address. And I think she's suggesting that said person did it. And I know that he's been suggesting that on Twitter as well. He's like, I'm a victim of extortion. All this horrible stuff is happening to me. I'm a victim. Look, you dug this woman up for one. Like you dug her up and brought her over here. I don't know what to say about this at all. You know, I don't know this person. You know, so I'm not defending the person, but what we can see, it just doesn't really completely line up. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess no. I was gonna say I can kind of see it. I can't really.
Polynomial says they don't know about us. They've never heard of SWAT. Tracy Ullman. I'm being weird. I don't know the reference. Do you know the reference?
No.
I have to look that up. I'm so sorry. Well, thank you for the super chat. $9.99. We appreciate that. I appreciate it. I'm broke. Yeah. Things are expensive here. Cost of living went up 20%. So everything's appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah, times are hard. I've
been looking for some side hustles because I have a dental surgery coming up, and I've already just had a regular surgery, and I'm sinking. So I'm not begging. I'm saying like it will go to good use. Thank you.
That's what I think this was, me personally. And I'm pretty sure Steve might kind of think something along that lines too, but I don't want to speak for Steve.
Oh, by the way, if you need something done like a thumbnail or whatever like that, let me know.
Oh, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, let me know. Well, I'm also like shilling myself. Like, you know, if you got $2 on you, I will make you a thumbnail. I will be discounted.
Like, what do they want from you? Like, that's how extortion works. Now, if somebody's reporting your videos that you may or may not have done 25 hours yourself directly of streams about them, and they're calling out for privacy after you tried to contact their family via Facebook, that's not.
So I mentioned that like they contacted the family via Facebook. They dug up a thread that was 5 years old with people like just dogpiling and stuff like that. 5-year-old thread, and reached out. Like, that's just a lot. That is a lot.
Yeah.
Yo, fam. You know a lot of fucking information here. So either you're like fucking balls deep in all of this shit. Like,
of course she is.
You're talking with all kinds of people, you know, that are also knowledge or informed on things, or you're just stalking the shit out of Steve. I don't know which. I honestly don't know.
So Steve tweets out like a good amount of this.
Yeah.
Or did until he couldn't. So a lot of it comes from that. Yeah. And so like my thing is if that means if you're watching someone's Twitter and the BS that they put out on a public platform, and if that constitutes stalking, what the fuck are you doing to Katie Joy every day?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's not stalking. Well, okay. It is somewhat stalking, and like the fact that like when my mom does it to like my account and all of y'all's accounts, it's a little bit stalking. But like not like legally stalking. It's just a little stalker-esque.
Stalking has like a specific inference, especially when you say it live. Like I don't know. That's not the word.
Yeah.
May the volleyball join. Do you have something to say specifically about this? Wilson might have something to say. Funny how McCrae did so much after NSS basically run its course. Yeah, like he just can't seem to hold on to any good thing. Like it's one of those things. I mean, NSS really did have potential. It was doing pretty good. It was on track for doing really good, and then it crashed. And then it was not doing so great, but at least it was better than his past channels.
Yeah.
But now on his channel, he has the Katie Joy helpline. If you've been harmed or hurt by Katie Joy, call 1-800 Steve is dumb. And so yeah, that's the whole thing. So yeah, unironically, there's a Katie Joy helpline that he sets up occasionally, and I think that's just bizarre. It is so bizarre.
Well, it's really bizarre in that, like, Steve McCrae is going to be the one that you're going to like for any issue. That Steve McCrae is going to be the one that you're going to go to. Like, when
times are tough, I reach out to Steve.
Yeah. Like,
he's a really good expert on mental wellness. And so anytime where I'm dealing with a bout of depression or anxiety, Steve is I just lean on Steve.
Steve is an expert in his own mind on everything.
He's great at mental wellness. He's great at financial advice. Super great. He's great at making pizzas.
Okay. Yeah.
With Wonder Bread and
level.
American cheese.
Yeah. What other way would you do it? No, I'm sorry. I can't.
As a person that often is without money, like especially in the past when we were first married, if you're gonna make pizza, you can shop at the 99-cent store and get actually muffins, like English muffins, and you can put it in the toaster oven, and you can get yourself. I mean, if you're lucky, they're gonna have pizza sauce there at the 99-cent store, like decent, good pizza sauce, and you just put it on there. But if you're unlucky,
smaller jar, but like you don't really need that much. So like, I mean, every time I use pizza sauce, half the jar goes to waste anyway. So
right. But if you don't have the pizza sauce, you can, dig up some marinara sauce, and they probably have that. So you put it on the English muffin, and you put it in ideally a toaster oven and not the whole oven, because that's a lot. But he put it in the oven, right? And that's how you do it. If you want to be like, I'm too poor to order pizza, at least do it that way. Don't put it on Wonder Bread and use Taco Bell packets and American cheese. What are you doing?
That's a Mexican pizza.
Oh, don't insult Mexican food.
I know. I was like,
we're in California, for goodness sakes.
Halfway through it, I was like, oh, this is an insult.
Oh my gosh, we're the home of Baja Mex. What are you doing?
Sorry. Sorry, please forgive me, all of Mexico.
Kino probably is upset right now. No, but there are ways to eat less expensive stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe it might not be the best for you, but it's still going to be better than what you did. PBJ is better than what you did. Oh my God. Yeah. So I'm not a stranger to the 99-cent store. I haven't been lately, but like I'm not a stranger to that. If you're
no shame.
Yeah. But you have to be careful what you get. There's some things that are like a no-go.
There are some things that it's like weirdly ridiculously more expensive at the 99-cent store, at the $1.25 store.
Things like ice cream are more expensive.
Yeah. It's like, well, I guess I kind of get it, but like just don't buy it there. Like that's just not the place to buy those items.
Has the fecal impaction joke been done already? Not yet.
Not yet. You are the first to bring it up.
I can't believe he said live that he had to manually dig it out.
I mean, after fucking Jelly Juice, what's her face? Like, none of that is. It does not surprise me that people say all kinds of, as I say, shit on the internet. But yeah, shit on the internet.
You know, speaking of shit on the internet, I have something.
The only thing I've ever gotten in trouble was for indecent exposure when I went into the chicken island naked.
Were you taking a shit on someone's grave? I mean, I have to know that much.
So I'm out in the middle of nowhere, okay? And there's 2 gas stations in this whole place.
So you weren't like you weren't trying to be spiteful and just actually shit on someone's grave.
No, there was just nowhere to go to the bathroom, and all I had was Burger King napkins. So I said, I don't want to pull into this person's yard. So I finally pulled into the
I pull into this person's grave.
There's a house on the hill watching.
Oh my gosh.
It's one of my favorite sound bites now.
I mean,
so I have this theory of why it was so urgent. I have this theory. I think it was so urgent because she says all she had was Burger King napkins in the car. Want to bet she had Burger King? That's my theory.
Did she say Burger King napkins? I remember the napkins. I wasn't. Yeah. She
Burger
had
King,
like spicy Burger King or yeah.
That'll do it to you. How's your gallbladder? Get it checked.
Yeah.
It might be that.
No, wait, I'm not making any accusations here. I don't know. But it's very likely one of those 2 things to some degree.
It sounds like she's talking about gallbladder.
Yeah, it likely is one of those 2 things. Yeah, the timing of that, like splice. It's either just the fact that it's Burger King or your gallbladder. One of those 2 things.
One of those 2.
Out of context.
But yeah. Like, that's crazy. Like seriously, like how do you know all that shit? You wouldn't have.
Oh my god, maybe if you have eyes and ears, you might know this shit.
Read shit. If you know how to read.
At a certain point, it was all over Facebook. People were like yelling, and then there were like people that were like, "Run and tell that people." And between, I was not one of those people, and I was like, "I don't want to know, I don't want to know." But like, you couldn't not want to know because like it was everywhere at certain points.
Okay, second worst actually, because Twitter's the worst, but
Twitter's pretty bad.
Happen to be a part of a certain Discord group now, would you?
You wouldn't happen to be part of a certain Discord group. What Discord group?
What difference does it fucking make?
Let me look. I'm gonna go back.
Is it the anti-Steve Discord group?
Directly of streams.
The Luds.
I want to know which Discord she's talking about. I'll just make it real easy for you. It's not mine.
About them, and they're calling out for privacy after you
Or mine.
tried to
No,
contact their
mine.
family via Facebook.
Actually, Steve's not been a subject in mine. It's like gaming and events lately, and yeah.
Yeah, that's not a.
Yo, fam, you know a lot of fucking information here. So either you're like fucking balls deep in all of this shit, like you're talking with all kinds of people, you know, that are.
You can't talk to people.
It's fucking Cheshire. Like, have you not run into Cheshire before?
I've been on the other end of Cheshire. I know how it's like.
Sorry.
Like clearly, you know, what's interesting is I'm pretty sure she's been in a Cheshire Discord before. She used to be on that show that time of the month. Clearly they communicated somehow. Like,
yeah, like what
they used to be friendly with each other before the falling out.
Like she knows that like Cheshire keeps abreast on things. It's not
Right.
Cheshire does a little bit of investigating every once in a while. Like,
And this is a person that like literally screen shares her Spokio, and is like, and then says you can look up anybody. It's not doxing, and she's the one that looks up all the police reports and everything like that. And like this is the person that's upset that Cheshire seems to know things.
right. Like
and they're the
false
things that were
outrage.
posted on Twitter for the most part. Like,
yeah, this is just false outrage. Like I don't believe that she could be that stupid. I think it's false outrage.
I keep going back and forth. Is she that dumb, or is it an act? And I keep going back and forth on this issue. I can't decide.
Fair enough.
Are also knowledge or informed on things, or you're just stalking the shit out of Steve. I don't know which. I honestly don't know which. I'm not making any accusations here. I don't know, but it's very likely one of those two things.
It would make sense that if somebody had been so deeply burned by Steve that was an ex-partner of Steve, they might pay attention to Steve, especially after he told a bunch of lies. Like they might be paying attention to him.
Especially somebody who had like such a public falling out with him. Like, sorry, it's just ridiculous to suggest that she wouldn't
Right.
or that doing so would be weird.
It's weird too. Like, I mean, if Steve was like just stuck with philosophy, like, I just want to be a man that talks about philosophy, or I want to introduce meet people that are PhDs and we want to talk about science. If he was that person that he advertised himself to be, none of this would be a thing. Like it wouldn't be, but he's drama. I'm a victim. So of course he's going to get attention. Of course people are going to look, and of course people are going to have something to say.
Right.
Like the people aren't going to have much to say about, the definition of atheism, but they're going to have a lot to say about whether or not this was swatting or not.
Right. Yeah.
To some degree, to an exorbitant degree, I would even argue. But yeah, like that's crazy. Like seriously, like how do you know all that shit? You wouldn't happen to be a part of a certain Discord group now, would you?
The way
know what the Discord. I want to know where the room where it happened. EKC, tell me where's the room? Where did it happen?
Yeah,
I don't know what Discord is. This Manya's Discord? Is this one of the detractors' Discords? Who's Discord? Also, it's kind of funny that she's throwing Discord shade because, like, blatantly, Veda's like, join my Discord for Charla. And here's another Discord separate, not a channel, another whole Discord separate for Katie Joy. And I remember Veda posting that, and that was on Twitter, so like it wasn't like I was inferring anything, and like she was posting that bullshit on Twitter.
It's not false, nor is that
interesting projection.
That's whether or not YouTube decides to follow through with it or not. That's not a false report. It's also not a false flag.
It kind of is, though. It's not a false flag, no. I mean, but
no.
If the report or the privacy complaint, whatever it was made from a dishonest standpoint, then yeah, that would make it false, would it not?
Well,
I think
sure. But was it actually? What's your take on this, Packle?
Well, I mean, it is possible. I mean, we do see people that abuse people online all the time, and it's awful. I think it's disgusting. And like again, like I don't care who you are. Like the funny part of this isn't that this happened to Steve. The funny part of this is what he's calling it to me.
Yes.
But if somebody that's some rando that's calling, then yeah, that's a problem. But if it's a neighbor or something like that, I just don't know. And I don't know how I would know, but I would say that he seems to be throwing some shade and direction. And so if he's doing that, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could collect a police report or something and just start to kind of get evidence. I don't know what you would do. I filed police reports before, but I don't know how much you would need to collect for an incident like that. I don't know. I've never tried.
I guess my question is, do you think that Steve thinks that this was malicious, somebody going after him from?
Oh, I think he thinks it's absolute malice, but my understanding from his tweets, and that's from the tweets before this prior, is that he was saying that people are like hacking into his stuff. They're trying to do his password, and he's sending all these weird screenshots. And one of them says RedTube. I don't even understand. I don't know how that. I don't even understand that one at all. But yeah, like he's like saying, "Oh, my stuff is getting hacked and stuff," and I think he said someone was opening a line of credit or something in his name, which is all that stuff. If that's true, is awful. But then he seems to be inferring that it's the Charlotte person. But I don't know how you would like. The timing of it matches, but where's the evidence of that and how you would collect it? I don't know. But I think if all that's happening, you could definitely collect it all and do a police report, which I'm assuming he must have done. I haven't looked it up or anything like that, but I would assume that's what would be the logical thing to do, a police report.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was doing that to me, I would file a police report. Absolutely.
That's what I'm wondering is like, by his actions, he hasn't filed a police report. Right. So does that mean that he thinks that like the people who called like had a legitimate reason for calling and therefore there's not? It's confusing to me.
Yeah. I don't know, years and years ago I had to file one for a hit and run, and so and they didn't take it very seriously or really care. But you know, you just have to do it for your insurance and shit, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So YouTube more prefers the word like unfounded rather than false. Oh my God, why is my dog barking?
I don't know what that would.
Her dog is actually really cute.
Have to do with the swatting though, or what you're being extorted over. This is the same as when he accused me of blackmail. It's like, no, you don't understand.
No. It's nothing like that at all. It's not at all. I mean, I don't know all the specifics about him with the whole blackmail thing, but I just know for a fact.
You don't know the specifics with the blackmail thing? Okay. La. The whole time I was like, I don't see nothing.
I think it's funny too that she's like, it's nothing like that. I mean, I don't know anything about that, but it's definitely nothing like that.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know then? How can you be so very certain?
Lono agrees that it was directed at Charlotte. That's what I was getting from like the series of stuff that he was putting out, like that it was this person and he's a victim and that he was going to give her as much attention as Katie Joy and just all sorts of bullshit.
Interesting.
That the little that I do know about what transpired between the two of you is nothing like what's been transpiring as of late. So I can confidently say, no, it's not.
For Cody Twins, they have to be demanding something from you.
And you think they're not?
Do you think EKC ever gets shown actual evidence?
No. I don't think that she would know actual evidence if it was presented in front of her.
I think I have to look and watch the Kino video. I think there needs to be a part 2 of this.
Okay, yeah, that's
because it's kind of late right now, or for you, but
yeah.
I mean, I know you've been around for a while. I know this. A lot longer than I've been around.
You've been around for a while. In fact, I used to be on a show with you.
So, and you've seen it firsthand because you experienced it yourself firsthand. The attacks made against Steve, against yourself, against Vanya. You know, when you were all friends at one point in time. You've
attacks made like pushback because I don't know, Cheshire made up a lie accusing someone of SA who was a victim of SA that did not happen, like that kind of attack, like, and people push back on that she's just a victim.
Like, I'm sorry, but like if you hang out in a turd suit, like you're gonna run into some turds. Like what's it? Like, yeah,
it's not that. It's not just that. Cheshire was the turd. That's the problem. She was the one.
That's
like,
yeah.
And Manya, I would like to say that Manya wasn't as bad, but Manya shared that false accusation on Twitter after it was proven to be incorrect, and after Cheshire said it was part of a layered argument, and after Red's Rhetoric said it didn't happen. Manya shared that 50 times on Twitter.
Yeah. I guess
so. Like I'd like to feel sorry for Manya because she wants connection and community, and she was probably deeply hurt and duped. But I don't feel sorry for Manya because she did that bullshit.
Right. the one I was trying to avoid saying because everything always comes back to Nazis, but the saying
Godwin's law.
if a Nazi sits down at a table with 3 people and no one gets up, that's a table with 4 Nazis. Like, usually we stop with that's a table before that, but I feel like for viewers who don't know the rest of the saying, that's the rest of it. Okay,
You've seen it. You've seen how people like Katie Joy and those who are I don't know, in the defense of her or whatever.
Katie Joy again. Here's the thing. EKC likes to say that everybody that detracts from her or that detracts from anybody like around Steve or whatever, it's because they are doing Katie Joy's bidding. Like in her brain, she thinks like that people are like team Katie Joy. I don't like Katie Joy. I told her to her face on a live stream I didn't like her. The one live stream I shared with her was on UniRock's live stream. And I said, look, I'm not a big fan of you, but, and then she lost her ever-loving shit on me and was in the side chat saying, kick this bitch, kick this bitch, kick this bitch, kick this bitch. And eventually UniRock kicked me so that she wouldn't like run off. But all I said was, I'm not a big fan of you as a caveat. And she lost her ever-loving fucking mind because she can't hold back her ego or her sensitivity for half a second. And the point is like, I don't have to like you to say attacking your child is wrong.
Right. Yeah. And I also find that I don't necessarily, and I think this is easier for me than it is for you, to be able to say, I don't like Cheshire, but at the same time, I can see her point is valid a lot of time. And I can, my dislike of her doesn't necessarily stand in the way of like me being able to agree with her.
Yeah. I dislike Steve. I thought Kyle should pay Steve.
I still don't know what my opinion is of that.
So we disagree on that. That's interesting. Yeah, I thought Kyle did owe him money, and they needed to figure that out.
Probably, yeah. I feel like that it's one of those where it's like you're both idiots. Like you're both. Do I have the ability to say which of one of you is a worse idiot? Probably, but it isn't worth my energy. I mean,
I view Kyle as doing the majority of the work, right? I get that, but if the agreement is to split it, then that's the agreement, right?
Right. Also, like, Kyle is a documented domestic abuser, so
yeah, but we didn't know that. We did not know that until way later, and then Steve tried to like assign that to everybody. Nobody knew that. And also, by the way, I did not give to Kyle's fundraiser. I just want to be on note and say, like, I did not do that. I did not support it, and I did not share that.
I don't think I did either. I feel like
I don't think you were even around then.
I was, but not.
You were over in
here.
Jimmy Land, I think.
Yes, which I don't know if you saw in the chat. I'm actually wearing Jimmy merch today.
No.
Like, how serendipitous is that? Yeah, I'm literally wearing Jimmy merch right now.
Oh, like, weird. I'm surprised you didn't burn it.
Okay, so
if I had Steve merch, it would be in the dumpster.
Yeah, he had the pansexual, it's not about cookware merch. So it doesn't actually have his name anywhere on it.
Got it.
I did try to show a camera earlier. Oh, it's going to want to freak out again. Never mind. I was going to say I'll show it, but it's the pan flag and it says it's not about cookware. So it doesn't actually have his name on it, but it was kind of funny. We were like started talking about like this crowd. I was like, oh my god, how serendipitous is that? Because it was like you're like, yeah, come and enjoy Minnow, and I'm like, I guess the universe is talking. All right,
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. I just want to see what she has to say further.
Yeah.
Farming's great.
Yeah.
The cows look like they just visited Hawaii. Yum, nom, 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 nom. Are you lactose intolerant? I'm sorry. We don't have soy. Have you tried any oat milk?
I don't like oat milk.
We have ethically farmed chickens here on our farm. All right, I'm gonna skip this.
I like chicken.
Yeah,
I like chicken. I don't like chickens. They're mean. I eat them.
They're little gross little dinosaurs. I don't actually like them. I used to have some. Like they're kind of cool, but yeah, they're gross little dinosaurs.
As soon as one of them has something wrong, they're like, peck that one to death. I'm like, okay, this is too much.
Oh my god, yeah, they do. Like they are dramatic. Like,
jeez, we need to purge this one from our group. Like, what?
Yes. Well, they are like they're fucking little dinosaurs. Like really, it's just they have little dinosaur brains, and that
I eat them before they eat me.
Brain. Exactly. It's like, oh, this one is unhealthy, therefore it's a threat to let it stay with us. Therefore, remove it. Also, it's nutrients. So, yeah.
Spooky Bed Hair says, I'm wearing my spackle pajamas and dressing gown. You know, that would be cool. You know those long shirts that guys used to wear to like have like those long shirts, like just to have the long shirts that are like pretty much like an oversized button-up shirt. Have you seen those?
Like the silk ones. I remember kind of like silk ones in the 90s.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah.
Or satiny, yeah.
That's what I'm picturing with this dressing gown thing.
I have a dressing gown that is an actual, like, well, I think it might have been sold as a smoking jacket, but it's definitely, it's not as heavy as it.
Oh, so when he says that, he means like a robe, maybe.
That would be my guess.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm guessing. It seems like it would go with PJs, right?
Yeah, yeah. You know, because like, you know, when the cops go, you need to like put on your smoking jacket.
That is exactly what mine is for, or for like running through the house and not being naked, like for other things as well. Like, you know, because windows exist.
Right. I said I have blinds.
I have curtains, and they are such a pain in the ass to like draw the curtains and close them all the time.
There's a lot of nudity in my house, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't have kids, so it's just my husband and I and the dogs. So like the dogs just cover their eyes with their paws.
Yeah. I just wear a smoking jacket. See?
Yeah, you know.
Hiding in real life for a bit. The interwebs are getting a bit toxic.
Of course it's a robe, you unsophisticate.
I said it was a robe. Fuck you, Spooky.
It's me. I'm the savage.
and you're welcome, Stool.
Word. I'm not a Steve apologist. Dude's got his obsessions and issues, but I don't agree with your stance on his claim in the video. In the written report, it stated several past DV at apartment. This is all caps because the 911 operator is dictating shorthand what the caller is saying, not that the operator has verified this claim. A report like this is releasable to the public, and those details are not included, meaning the history of that address.
That's probably true, actually. So like, see how it's in quotation marks like that?
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, what is this? Remember?
Otherwise, I could do a FOIA and ask every call that
she knows about FOIAs
has been made to a specific
that's
address.
What I was going to say is think in medical records, I don't know for humans. I worked at a vet clinic for a while, but that is exactly like the way that we would chart that, is if like the owner says something that's like very specific, that's like, that's a weird freaking thing that you said, or a very specific thing that you said, that we would put it in quotation marks and all caps like that, that it's like,
owner says that golden retriever only likes broccoli.
Yeah. Owner says Fluffy will not eat dry kibble or factory made dog food of any kind.
Wrong, and this is a verification that the operator confirmed multiple calls for DV has happened at this address. Note that this entry is 11 seconds after the prior. The time hack is exactly when the operator hits enter for the shorthand of what the person is saying, meaning in 11 seconds, the operator put the address into the system as they were listening to the caller, reviewed past history of that address, and randomly put into the log that operator confirmed mid-sentence of the caller that this address had a history. 11 seconds, dude. 11 seconds.
So on those calls too, they assign units. So like they have rules and codes, and what they do is they assign the specific unit for certain code. So everything like this sort of thing needs like a police car, and well, like police car and a paramedic, right? And that paramedic could be like an ambulance, or that paramedic could be like a fire truck. Oftentimes the fire trucks are faster. So for something like, say, like OD is OD and heart attack are the ones where they send the cops for a medical thing. You wouldn't think like cops go to a medical thing, but they do. But yeah, so like these people that take the calls, they have to write down everything you said, and then they have to select the correct unit and stuff like that. And so, but yeah, they're not going to go, hold on, let me research this. Like in the middle of the call. They don't do that. That's not their job.
Right.
Basically, they take down the information, they sort it out later. And if it's a false call and they can find out that you're making a false call, you get a nasty fine in California.
Well, and I think it's illegal in a lot of places. And that's a lot of times they'll find that like people who, you know, made a false call, it's like, oh, it turns out that it was at a payphone or something like that, because people know like that is illegal, highly illegal.
Yeah, well, luckily, cell phones now are pulling up more and more, and like it's harder to do that now. Like,
yeah,
you know, it's still possible, I'm sure, but
and payphones are disappearing as well. So
yeah, the prepaid, the same thing that the dealers use, you know, the prepaid nonsense.
They're being able to track those now. Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You work that fast? Not even our fucking 911 systems. Come on now. This entry is not a verification that prior DV calls have been made, only that the caller is claiming prior DV calls have happened. I didn't even catch that. Oh my God, I didn't even catch that. Okay. This is a huge difference. Yeah. And for someone that is trying to call hellfire upon someone else, this is a detail they will add to ensure the police response is harsh enough for their liking.
There's a couple things that stand out to me about this issue. One is none of this stuff was happening prior to Veda appearing. Veda Potato. And I'm not saying that she's involved, but I'm saying none of this happened prior to her. Also, to be fair, none of it happened prior to Charla either.
Okay.
But I note that a lot of weird things like this have been happening about the same time Veda appeared. And I think that's interesting timing. I don't know what I think about that.
Interesting is, yeah, I feel like that's a good way.
She's got an interesting past that she so willingly shares on YouTube.
Intent is what I've been saying. I can't find anything specific for that city/county on what a level 3 is, but they do say, quote, calls of reported, threatened, imminent, or ongoing domestic violence and the violation of any court order are of extreme importance and should be considered among the highest response priorities. This includes incomplete 911 calls. And even if the response severity is, quote, get there when you can, no rush, the responding officers were there in 6 minutes.
Oh, so it was a low traffic night.
Yeah, like, well, anything like in the more non-main city towns in Cali are just as slow as like any Midwestern town that isn't a main city. You know, like it's just really chill in comparison. And like the majority of their calls are like, yay, we have a traffic stop, or yay, we have an OD. Like I say yay, but like, you know, they have something to do. I'm sure there's you know, and stuff like that, but like they do not have the activity level as like LA, for instance. So
yeah, that's why 4 cops showed up to this, and they showed up within 6 minutes, even though it was super low priority. That makes sense.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about Benny. Oh my gosh, that guy. That's old school trouble. Old school trouble back in the days. That's true.
It's not a when you can type of response. especially for a police department that serves a 100,000 population city.
That's so big.
It's not though.
Is it that big? Hang on. Is it? Hang on.
I mean, St. Louis is like what, 8.2 million?
I only know because he said it several times. I never did look this up, but I'm just curious.
I feel like I don't actually remember how big St. Louis is, but I remember Robbie and I talking about how it was like literally like the city that's closest to me is a bit more population than his entire country, because like he lives in a low population country.
It is really trippy to see like there's whole countries that can fit in my state, like like several countries. The UK can fit in my state. Like it's weird. It's just weird to me because I'm just so used to people, and we're just ginormous. Us in Texas are huge.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's true. Like to you, this is what was it? 100,000.
To me, 100,000 is nothing.
Yeah, no,
like that is nothing.
That's what I'm saying. Is I grew up in a town of, I think there were like 15,000 when I grew up there. And like it was a small town, but like we're not that far from St. Louis, which is 8 million. Like 100,000 is not.
Yeah, it's itty bitty.
That's like the town that has like the big high school. You know what I mean? That's like when we did sports, like the high school that was like, oh, they always have great sports teams, was like the town that has 100,000. Like, that's, come on.
All right, population. I had to figure out. I couldn't remember what it was named because like that's how important the town is. It's super important to us. Okay, so it's about 90.
Where?
90,000.
Where you live?
No, I don't live there.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, can you live in like
boonies,
a rural area?
That is being discussed. Yeah, about 90,000.
Okay.
But I mean,
you live in someplace way bigger than that, I'm sure.
Millions.
Most people do.
Millions. Yeah.
Get there when you can, quote, for a town this size means we will see you sometime next week, not 6 months later. And that's
that would be true, like in big towns.
Yeah, that would definitely be true in St. Louis. If it was East St. Louis, it would be like, okay, it's like 3 million. Okay. Thank you, Gretchen.
Well, that's a big difference. 3 million. I was like, that's not true. I was staring at that number going, I'm not good at math, but okay, that looks better. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Let me see here.
So like, I think I probably did my math the wrong way when I was comparing it to Northern Ireland. That does sound more accurate.
I said millions. We're at we're just below 1.5 million here. But we're smaller than LA, so I like it that way.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as we become bigger than LA, I'm gone.
I mean,
LA's awful.
Your town is 10 times the size of the city.
Right. So to me, like
and
to be like, oh my gosh.
The city of St. Louis proper is not. There you go. Like the East St. Louis is like another 18,000.
I didn't know there was an East St. Louis.
East St. Louis is in Illinois. That's where most of the crime happens.
Oh, that's the one that gets on the list, then, the Illinois one. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a whole like metropolitan like area over there as well. It's like, yeah. The city itself of St. Louis really isn't that, like, it's a downtown, it's a city, but it's not. The metropolitan area is much bigger than the city itself.
Do not go there. Okay.
East St. Louis, yeah. There's a big sign. I think it's moved now, but I remember
that says do not go there.
Well, okay, so it's when you cross the highway, it's like a big, like flashing, like orange, like warning sign that says, like, warning, you are now entering East St. Louis. Like, it may as well say, like, lock your doors, like, don't. Like, I don't know if it's still that bad, but yeah, it was when I was a kid. It was like, if you see that sign that says you're entering East St. Louis, like you need to turn the fuck around the first exit you get to.
Daryl, what's weird about our cities in California is like several of them are really spread out. So like San Diego, which is my city, which I've not hidden because like everybody goes, oh, UNC live close, but we're actually not that close. It's a bit of a drive from where I live to the boonies where he lives. But what I was going to say is that we're just so spread out, and we don't have a very good, compared to some other cities that are more tied together, like I'd say Chicago or New York. Our transit system is not that great. Our bus system is a pain, and our metro system, like with our trolleys, are not very much a straight shot because we have the topography of a lot of canyons. We have a lot of canyons and ground that's not suitable for something like that. And so for us, like we just don't have a very fast transit system compared to some other places. So
yeah,
we just weren't, we were definitely built to be commuting cities. And the problem with LA is that their population is so huge that they just have constant gridlock. And it's just, yeah, LA is awful.
See, come on. I think we all by now know that that's fucking true. Note the change in text, though. All caps on the report of, quote, mobile update unit 3461 set status to arrive. This is literally a checkbox on their computer in car, and it's less than 6 minutes after the call. Click arrived, and the system logs it. Next entry, again, all caps. This is the 911 operator communicating with the officer. They are on.
But
I think we get her point.
Yeah, like it's, I get her point. I feel like this is one of those where like I could see it both ways. It's frustrating, and I know people are gonna hate me saying that, but like I guess I'm just gonna keep going back to like swatting is not the same as calling the police on somebody. Like, don't do either one.
Hey, like, look, Theta's there.
Hey,
yeah, don't do either one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Supernatural crime with Nikki. Supernatural crime.
Oh my. Well,
questions.
You know, Bree and I were gonna go investigate some supernatural. Well, okay, we couldn't find any crime, to be fair.
Supernatural crime's a thing. I didn't even know that was a whole section.
I don't know, but one of my favorite quote unquote reality shows that I've ever seen is called what was it? Supernatural House Inspectors. We're gonna watch it together sometime, I feel like.
Oh my god, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's invite Simos, because supernatural stuff.
Yes.
He's hilarious about.
Yes, Simos. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Gretchen, it's good to see you, by the way. I rarely get Gretchen in my chat, so I'm happy when I see you. Oops, I hit a button.
No, she's muted.
She's muted. Okay, fast forward.
I don't want to be in that location any longer than I have to be. Why the fuck would I expect other people to go there? No, what I meant was in the center of the United States, somewhere. We should possibly look into having a DramaCon after my appearance. Okay? That's what I was suggesting. So
I want to know what this DramaCon is.
She's going to have a DramaCon? That's what she said?
In the center of the U.S.
Oh, wait. Chesh isn't on anymore. I can put both my headphones back in. Okay.
Hang on.
I would go to a DramaCon.
Now I got to figure out what DramaCon is. Let me go backwards. I feel like I may have gone up.
Kind of like a slight extended stay, like a night or two or something.
Now we want to know what this DramaCon is, because it's
we're
fucking
gonna
hilarious.
So I wanted to just point that out because maybe then people will have a better understanding of the context of the video coming up.
Fast forward. Like it's a VH tape.
Case number assigned to. There's no fucking assignments to anything. And here we go. Reporting party, RP, advised she can hear arguing and banging at the address given. Nothing else, nothing seen, only can hear. Several past domestic.
Did you yell pause?
Yes, I did. Is this the indication that the caller was a woman?
I can't read the text, so I'm trying to look to confirm.
someone used she, her pronouns. I believe it was Cheshire's voice that said it. So I'm going to have to go back to one headphone.
Yeah, you would have to look that up and bring it up on the big screen, I think, to double check. But yeah.
It's so to me, if that is the indication that this is a woman, then all we know is that the person maybe had a high voice or a lilting voice, not necessarily that it was a woman. Like,
no, in all seriousness, I wouldn't want to meet up with them. Though I don't think I'd be scared of EKC at all. Like, I actually think that EKC and I could like have a drink and go, like, I think you suck, and then walk away. But there's certain people I would not want to be around, like Megan and Veda. I would not want to be around. I wouldn't really want to be around EKC either, but I think that we could be civil.
I wouldn't go on my own, but I would be down for a drama con, to be fair.
There'd probably be drama at the drama con.
You know there would. As long as there's popcorn.
And we would just be like live reporting from the drama con.
Yeah!
Yet again, someone said you're lucky I didn't bring my Ruger.
Again. Oh my God!
Just don't bring reds.
It would happen.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I wouldn't want to do that.
Dang it. Well, who's going to go with me?
Look,
All
we
right.
can have our own non-drama con.
What fun would that be?
Did I mute her or is she muted? Oh, she's muted. This is the part where she fucked up. Okay,
Yeah.
let me fast forward it.
But then it's, yeah, she pops up.
What's she thinking? She's like, Cheshire, you're dumb. You're dumb. You don't know anything. I know cops. All cops shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, you know, there was talk of me dressing up as Steve and Savage as Kyle for a skit, but then we never did it.
We could still do it.
It's so like not relevant now.
Okay, here's the thing. Do you remember the idea that I had, not just for the skit, but what it could be turned into?
Yes.
Because I have a keyboard in my house, like a piano keyboard.
I have a bass and guitar at mine.
And I believe that Sam was still in the chat, and I think I saw a guitar or two at his house. I'm just saying, between the three of us. And
I'm just not good at writing music. I'm good at like playing other people's music, and I have an ear. For whatever reason I have a musical ear, and I was born that way. But yeah, as far as writing my own music, it's not something I've done. What?
I can pull random shit out of my ass as far as like putting like lyrics to a tune, but like there's so many things that I would need your guys' help to like include, and then I would probably need Simos and your help to like actually compose it into like parts, and you know what I mean?
Right. Well, I have the box where you connect it to the computer. Like it's not Scarlet, but it's the other box. And so like I can do that, but at the same time, like I never have yet. And so it was Mowdy that was like, you need to make some music. You need to play bass or something and make some music and put it. And I'm like, I just panicked. I'm like, Mowdy, I don't write my own music. And I don't really consider myself a musician. I am a dabbler of the arts. I'm not an artist or musician, but I have some tendencies that veer that way. And I just haven't really harnessed it. And for me, music just generally is something I'm a little more guarded with because I enjoy it so much. And I am more, I do it because I enjoy it, not because I want to be great or, you know, want accolades or, you know, something like that. So, and I drop it and pick it up constantly. Right. So
same.
So that's why I like I look at Christopher Mowdy and I go, oh, you are a musician. I look at Timeless. I've been in 2 bands before, but I've not been in a band. I've been in like goofy bands, you know. I've been in a church band, and I've been in like a high school band. Whoop-de-doo. Like, you know, like I really don't typically, I don't consider myself a musician, but do I like to play music? Yes, absolutely.
So yeah, we just need to like get together and make some music because it'll be fun, and it'll be fun music, and that will make it more fun. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I wrote a song with a Gretchen once. Oh, look, there's another Gretchen right here.
Was it this Gretchen?
No, I don't think they know each other.
I don't know. You never know. Simos gets around. I'm just saying.
This Gretchen's from Julie Virgo land. Simos is from like Dirt Bait land. But you guys could make music together. I have no idea of Gretchen's music. Actually, I think Gretchen could sing, if I remember right. Now I think about it, because I remember the talent show thing that we did for Pickle. If I remember right, you can sing, ma'am. Lol. I'm pretty sure you stood out to me. I was like, oh, okay.
God damn it, motherfucker. Thank you for telling me I'm muted. Okay, let me just say what I was saying again here. So I was reading the comments.
It was a long time that people were telling her.
I know. If you look at it, they're like, you're muted. You're muted.
Still muted. Still muted.
I texted her.
Oh my god. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, okay, what first led me to this was Rainy Days saying at Cheap Place, no, it's not concerning, and not to the level of trying to bring yourself to tears. Oh, it's a court appearance. That's it. I wasn't trying anything. Oh, believe me, I mean, I do improv, but I'm not that good at acting. I can't make myself cry. I wasn't trying to do anything. And I want to add, I did not bring myself. I did not come to tears. There were no tears. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I'm sorry if a woman expressing her fears on something upsets you so much. Fuck off. Anyway, so what Clementine hits, or no, not Clementine, my bad. So what Chief Glass said to Rainy Days was, so Rainy Days, if you went to a different state by yourself that you hadn't planned, you wouldn't be concerned. Okay, so that's what I read, and this is what I'm commenting on. I don't really care if anyone has an issue or thinks it weird or odd for me to have those fears. I'm a 48-year-old woman, okay? And I've never really traveled anywhere.
Fact check. As somebody that just turned 44, I find that questionable.
You're evil. You're evil.
I am evil as fuck.
By myself before. Like I worked for years as an independent
Well, actually, I have boundaries, and I'm like pretend evil.
Contract courier, but even then I never left the state, and I was always home within like 8 hours of leaving my house. So I never actually traveled somewhere far distance and stayed for like any.
She's talking about herself. She's never traveled. I understand. Like, is she talking about traveling alone, like driving? I have driving anxiety. I could see that, but like travel anxiety, just in general, is that what she's saying? I'm so confused.
Maybe.
You can travel without driving. Fun fact.
Yeah,
it's possible. Kind of a slight extended stay, like a night or two or something. I've never done that by myself. So to then be, you know, at least
like by yourself, do you mean like you haven't traveled somewhere and just met somebody? Like usually we have a purpose when we travel. Either we're going to a seminar or a work meeting, or we're going to to meet up with some folks that we know or stay with family. We're doing something, right? When we travel. You've never done that, EKC?
Maybe
at 48?
Wow.
No wonder why you're on the internet so much.
Maybe she always had somebody go with her. I think my mom, I don't know if my mom has ever traveled on her own without like a companion.
Well, I get wanting a travel companion for sure. But I mean, like, I get it because I'm an anxious person. Like for me, my anxiety is really practical anxiety. It's not that somebody's going to attack me, because I always feel like any day someone could attack me in my city because it's crazy. You know,
sure.
like there's a lot of action. There's police helicopters all the time and stuff like that. I'm not even the bad neighborhood, you know? So like for me, that's not my fear. My fear is more and I'm always careful, you know, about what I can be careful of. But my fear is more based on really ridiculous things. So being that I was so sheltered and stuff like that, my fear is based on things like, oh my God, I have to go to Denver airport. That's a really huge airport. What if I get lost? What if I can't find the tram? What if I don't know what I'm doing? What if I miss my flight? I have all those just
Mhm.
destroy me, and then I'm fine. Like what's weird is like I'm using Denver as an example because I was going through that and I was like trying to be like calm about it, and and I just read the signs. I did okay. It
Yeah.
was fine.
Yeah.
But the panic, I mean, I can get that in a way. I can get that, but
Sure.
I've been under the impression that I would be court ordered to do so. That means I would have to travel to another state, like halfway across the country, by myself, to a place where there's and the other part.
If the court orders you to go to a different state, do they pay for it, or do you have to like? Yikes! And then if somebody like say like brings you for some sort of frivolous lol suit, do you then just say you owe me my plane fare and my time off work? Do you just counter like petty court sue them or whatever they call it? Like what's the word?
Counter sue.
Would you counter sue like in a small claims to get that back?
Yeah.
I'd be
Typically, that's how
mad.
you're-
Yeah. Fair enough. That's it. I'd be mad about
And
that.
sometimes it's like it's annoying because it's like, well, technically, like you could hire an attorney to go and represent you, and then you wouldn't have to. But then, like, that's another expense, and yeah, it's quite frustrating. I had an ex one time who like basically filed court paperwork on me just to get me to appear in court because
Why
he knew-
can't you just do it so like via Zoom these days, like they've been doing?
I don't know.
Unless it's a
This-
criminal thing, maybe.
I was gonna say this was years ago, so I don't know. But yeah, but you might be able to these days.
Was really going out of their way to cause a lot of problems. Yeah, you bet your ass they had me feeling very, very uneasy. And I'm sorry if you might think I'm a pussy or something for that. I don't really give a shit. I'm not. And you can even argue and say, well, most people wouldn't think like that.
It's interesting though, because she's a bartender, so I mean, she's used to constant like stimulation and people and probably new people and stuff like that. So it's not a social anxiety.
And I'm going to argue and say you're full of shit. I think most people in my situation, being a 40-year-old woman who's never really traveled by herself before, would absolutely have some concern. And fuck you for having an issue with it. I don't really care. If anything, that just...
I'm not gonna lie, I'm that person that goes to a hotel room, and if I have the ability to put a chair underneath like the door handle, I will.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
I will do that. I'm one of those people.
That kind of just shows you to be, I don't know, kind of a dick person, you know? Anyway.
Nikki, who's nicknamed Dickie, is calling people a dick in chat.
Oh, but if you want to minimize the theatrics, then you're in the wrong place, boo.
This drama con's happening, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh, it's bedtime for Simos.
Oh,
good to see you, Simos.
We're gonna have to write a.
And if that bothered you, well, anyway. Oh, and I want to state though, for the record, in my last live stream, the whole DramaCon idea, though no one's taken me up on it, so it doesn't look as though it's going to happen. I specifically stated that it would have to be after the date of my appearance, not before. And it would have.
So she is appearing in court. I was wondering if she was or not. I think I missed that other stream she's referring to. Oh, that's interesting.
Have to be in a city within the area of where I was going, which was pretty much the center of the country. So
if it's where Charlotte's from, that's not the center of the country. Look at a map.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Let me look at it. 1 second. Well, maybe it is. It's
where is it? I mean,
I don't know if everybody knows where it is. I don't know. Yeah.
You know, our country is weird that we call like there's a Midwest that's like decidedly on the east side of the country.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I think of the middle of the country, I think of Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska, Colorado, New Mexico. That's like maybe Wyoming, like kind of that's the middle of the country, right? But what she's referring to, and I'll just give a few states because I don't know how many people know where Charlotte's from or not, but like she's referring to Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, Missouri, all is the middle of the country. And I guess it's officially it's called the Midwest, but like factually on the map, it's headed towards the East Coast, but it's not East Coast, but it's headed that way. It's sort of like how you would count the West as Nevada, Utah, Arizona, when people go, oh, the West, or, you know, the Pacific Northwest, Oregon, Idaho, Washington. I guess it would be like kind of like in that grouping of, you know, I guess what we would call Midwest, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. Oop, I lost. I lost you. Oh no. Okay. Well then, let me figure out what's going on because I got a message here. Oh, okay. There was been a crash. Not a physical one, just the computer. Man, this has been really quite weird to figure out what's going on. Like it's bizarre because like we saw all the spamming on Twitter. So like normally like we wouldn't have known if like there wasn't like this bizarre stuff going on in Twitter. And so trying to figure all this out and kind of put the pieces together has been really interesting. I still don't know what I think about some of this, really, truly. And so that's why sometimes I just don't know what to say quite. I mean, there's a reason why I haven't really talked about it a whole lot. Like I saw some of this go down in 3 or 4 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I don't know. Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff. But I just like, I don't know if I want to jump on that. But yeah, I've been trying to watch and see how things are playing out and how it's going. But it's just all bizarre. But yeah. So I guess she's challenging people to go to the drama con. I see. So she might be having to go to a court date. Okay. I mean, that's what I'm gathering from what you're saying. But see, I'm missing the stream because I didn't watch that stream. I'm missing the stream that she's referring to. So that makes it kind of hard. So I'm kind of going backwards, trying to infer what she's saying. Let's see here. Well, what do you guys think about all this? This is just so strange. It's interesting that Steve sort of broke out of the KJ and kind of got all involved in this. Oh, I missed that. Yeah, Julie called the hotline once. It was hysterical. It was so funny. You're right, just saying it was so funny. Have you tried his legal advice? Nope. Kino in our video. I kind of want to watch Kino's video, but I don't know if that's taken down or not. I know that they had to take down a lot of stuff. Welcome back.
I came back.
Are you okay?
Yeah, my computer just crashed.
Okay. I hate that.
Yeah.
I actually cleaned up my computer and it stopped crashing. Remember we were talking about that?
Yeah.
It was an overheating issue.
That's probably what mine is. I don't know.
And I used to like do that. I used to do that. Oh, it's Nikki's channel. Okay. Okay. We'll have to check it out. I'm curious to see what Kino has to say. But Kino's always like Steve's yes man, you know. They've known each other, I think he said, or she said, somebody said like 20 years or something. They have a long-standing friendship. It's not just on the internet, which is interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
Because you don't see that too much with him. So there's a commercial, so I'm waiting for it.
I was just going to update my profile picture.
Where's the thing?
America.
And again, I want to thank I'm fucking Raken for this awesome intermission music. It's 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes long. I'll be back like within that. I should be close to it anyways. So be right back.
This is my passion.
Art is my passion.
I'm gonna block the Raken music because I'm just trying to be respectful of Raken. No, really, like I don't want to play Raken's music on my channel, so I blocked it real quick. No, not you. Raken's music.
Yeah, I was. Never mind. I have a weird sense of humor. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
All right. Oh, I'm unmuted. I didn't realize that. It's okay. All right. So I did that pretty quick.
She doesn't know if she's muted or not.
So.
I would like to take a swing at that, but I can't tell you how many times I'm muted.
It's okay. We've all done it.
I figured it'd be quicker if I just poured it in here, so that way I didn't have to.
Candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker.
Walk, try not to spell it. You know?
Amen.
Sometimes it takes me a while to come up with smart ideas.
Sometimes it takes me a while to come up with smart
Hey,
ideas.
Veda.
Ooh, feed me the lines.
Oh, Veda, I got to tell you something too later.
We're still waiting, KC.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know why. I mean, I'll be honest though. I haven't really watched much of Cheshire stuff in a while. But I mean, like
same.
It's really boring. For the most part, she's boring. And for somebody that has as many like subs as she does, her view count is not higher than mine.
That's what I seem to notice whenever I was.
Yeah. So like people that were like hard mode for her, for some reason walked away. I think that's interesting.
And it looked like. This was the other thing that I thought was interesting when I looked at her channel was that her like ratio seemed higher before she started doing stuff with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Just weird.
Isn't that interesting? Yep. Mm-hmm. Veda's calling people morons in chat.
Oh God, I didn't open up that. I gotta open up this.
Her channel after this, and I didn't see her talking like about Steve for at least not regularly, not often. You know, why is she talking about all this now? And boy, she seemed to know.
That is something that I noticed. Is like usually, I think it has to do with Reg Reddick. I think Reg Reddick is not around, and because he's not around, she now can swing at Steve. I think it's something to do with that.
Okay, but yeah, I could see that because there might have been something that she wanted to not have on blast or to not have over her head. Okay.
Awful lot of information for someone who really doesn't show any clues or anything that she even really cares about Steve's, you know? But she sure seems to know a lot. So either she's watching a hell of a lot more Steve than she's letting on, or
no,
or there's a Discord.
Or the exact amount that she's letting on.
It could be Twitter. I don't know. It could be that other people watch and go run and tell that. You know how that works, right? Did you know that Jimmy did this? Or did you know that Steve did this? I mean, like there was a time where I hadn't watched Steve in months and someone ran over and ran and told me about this stuff. Like I was like, oh, what? I wasn't even looking in that direction.
Which, by the way, those of you who run and tell me things, I love you. Like,
yeah, I don't mind it.
Yeah.
Run and tell me. It's cool. Just let me know what I can and cannot say. That's why I always ask. Let me know what I can and cannot say. Because I don't want to be the person that's like, oh, and blah, blah. And they're like, why did you say that?
That's what I was just trying to think of a way to word that. That's a very good way to put it. Thank you.
So like when it's like drama stuff, like I go like, I sometimes will specifically say, can I mention this online or on Twitter? Or is that something I can't mention? And sometimes I get yes or no. And I try to honor that. But if I'm ignorant and I fuck up, I'm so sorry.
I've gotten better too about asking people like specific things about, can I mention that this, you know, is related to that it was brought up in relation to or whatever kind of thing.
Right.
Anyways, I'm gonna go back to playing.
You know, when I interview people, I do friendly softball interviews. I don't do attacking like this time on Dateline videos. I'm not Barbara Walters. And I always tell people, show me your best self and just tell me what you want off the table and, you know, like kind of thing. And
I like
from there.
I like that. I think that is integrity in an interview. And I was going to say, like, in relation to Steve and all of this, I have in the past kind of divulged more information than that people have given to me than I probably would now. Not that those people have said like, oh, that bothered me that you gave away that information or anything like that. But I do, like, there are things now where I'm like, maybe I shouldn't have given away that much. And it was actually in relation to Stephen Chesh fucking like being like, well, show me receipts and blah, blah, you know what I mean? And like that kind of shit. And it was like, again, not that people were mad that I gave away that information, but I realize in retrospect that I probably was peer pressured into giving away more information than I would be comfortable with now, I guess.
Peer pressure's a bitch.
I know. You know, they have, so there's the joke about like that Jews are all like, we're just like really super obedient. And
that's a joke.
Yeah, it's kind of we just like follow orders. And so the joke is that there's 3 Jews that are standing in line in a firing line. And
I don't know if I want this joke on my channel. It's already starting really bad considering the situation.
It's not going there. Okay, it's not going there. So it's so they hand a blindfold to the first guy and he takes the blindfold. And they hand the blindfold to the second guy and he takes the blindfold. And they hand the blindfold to the third guy and the third guy is like, fuck you, I don't want anything from you, motherfucker, blah, blah, blah. And his 2 buddies turn to him and they're like, Moshi, stop, don't start with them now. Like as if it would make any difference. You know what I mean? They're in the firing line. Never mind. But that's the thing. It's just like we're like, no, don't upset it. Just
don't rock the boat.
Don't rock the boat. Just follow orders. If people are peer pressuring you, we just go along with it, unfortunately. Which is a bad thing. We just shouldn't do it. So
are you Jewish? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Well, I think we've talked about this. So according to Jews, I'm Jewish, and according to Christians, I'm Christian. And according to me, I'm neither. So
well, sometimes they consider it like an ethnic group versus like and even within the ethnic group, there's like several splits, right? Versus a religion. And so like, yeah.
Yeah. So typically we say that it follows the mother's line. Like, so if your mom is a Jew, then you are a Jew. And it's
so
not
in that
like
same sense, Steve is. Yeah. Because his mother was a,
Right. Yeah.
But so, only in that sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And for me, only in that sense. It's like, it's not.
And you know, in my sense, it's like, oh, you're Irish American. Oh, you're Catholic, even though I'm not Catholic. People assume.
Right. And it is, that's kind of one of those things where it is a little bit of like an ethnic thing or whatever, you know, so.
But actually I come from my Irish Catholic family. It's just that we were the people that were like, no, we're Protestants. Just left.
Fair enough.
So that means that this apartment or this call has come in multiple times, or at least the person who was reporting.
My grandmother used to pray that we would join the Catholic Church every day. Oh, poor grandma.
Oh my gosh.
We haven't heard Steve talking about this before. We're not like, because if he wants to call this a swatting attempt, every time that a call would have gone in would have shown that the police would have shown up and done it. And then he would have a like list of multiple times.
Actually, if a SWAT happens once and it's false, they're less likely to SWAT again.
Is that
so? Either this means
sense, but
means there is a mistake in the address,
or the caller fucking lied. And why would what incentive would a caller have for lying in such a way?
It's just I struggle to believe Steve is the problem. Like, you know,
Steve could definitely be the problem.
There could be some rando that like just has a bone to pick.
It could be.
He thinks he knows who it is.
It could be that there was a domestic situation and somebody heard freaking yelling and banging, and she left. And then when the police got there, she was gone. It could. I mean, the thing is that like none of us know. Besides,
I think that EQC figured out it was 6 minutes for the call. I think is what she said. So, like a 6-minute.
But if it was somebody slamming the door and banging on the way out.
Oh gosh, if that's the case, then all it takes is my fucking neighbors are so fucking loud. Why are you slamming the door? Because I can.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that we don't know that the person who called didn't have a legitimate reason, but it does sound likely that maybe they didn't, and maybe it was malicious.
Yeah, I just don't know how you would assign it to somebody. You would have to probably do a police report, and then they could probably triangulate, I would imagine, especially if there's multiple incidences, which I'm all for. If someone makes a threat against you, like that's terrible, or like, like it's, you're being harassed in this sort of way, make a police report. I think if it stacks up enough, they do something, but I don't know if they'll do it right away, unfortunately. But I don't know. Sometimes they're not very keen on getting false calls. So, there's that.
I know that there was a woman not that long ago it was a white woman. So, how much leniency did she get? But it was over 45 phone calls that she had made of like false reports. And they like arrested her, but it was still on like it. It was like they brought her down to the police station and booked her and basically let her go until her court appearance. It wasn't. She like got released ROR, and that was over 45 false calls.
Jeez. Well, I mean, some people use it as a way to like just harass people. I don't like that your fence is that hard. I don't like that you have a dog or, whatever bullshit. There's a woman in my complex. I have a very huge complex. And this woman periodically goes onto her balcony and screams, "Who's hacking my Wi-Fi?
Oh my God.
I'm gonna figure it out, you fucker." And we're just like, oh my God. And nobody talks to her because we're all like, this woman's crazy. But she'll scream about her Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, dude, like, I don't know, set a password. I don't know what to tell you.
Exactly. I'll be back in just a minute.
It was like, that's so aggressive. Calm down. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to be wrapping up soon. So use the bathroom and come back. And I just said that live. I'm terrible. And I'm just scrolling through real quick. Scrolling with my homies. Trying to see if I missed anything super interesting. Thank you for the folks that super chatted. I always appreciate that. That's kind of you. It's helpful. I'm going to look up that quote, actually. Speaking of super chats, I said they don't know about us. They never heard of. I don't know what that is. So let me look that up. I don't know what it's referring to. Okay, who's Tracy Ullman? Oh, HBO? It's an HBO show?
It's like, it sounds familiar, but I don't know what it's from. Yeah.
Oh, it's a person. Is this something weird she said? Or is it in, I don't know. It's not pulling up instantly, I'll tell you that. Interesting, at least for me.
It's a song?
I don't know. Isn't she a comedian or something?
A musician.
Oh, she is. Well, no, I looked her up and it's pulling up HBO stuff. Small Time Crooks, Ullman Show. She had a show, 87 to 90.
They don't know.
Yeah, it's got to be some weird, like, niche quote that I just don't know. Like when I say timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff, that wouldn't make a lot of sense to somebody that doesn't watch Doctor Who, right? Oh, it is a song. Oh, you put a link? Oh. I don't think I want to play it necessarily if it has a copyright, but link it.
I found it.
You found it?
Uh-huh.
It's a song?
Yeah.
Okay. Pop it in the private chat. I don't think I'm gonna play it because of just the dumbness of YouTube, but
I do know this song. I have it playing in a different window. It's one of the, when you hear it, you'll be like,
okay,
I've
let me
heard
click
this.
on it. I'm gonna click on it, not in StreamYard, so I leave the channel by accident like I've done before. And then I'm gonna copy it over, as you do. And let me listen to it real fast.
Tracy Ullman was the show who started The Simpsons. Says
really?
Says the chat.
Hold my hand. Okay, yeah, this sounds familiar.
Yeah.
They never heard of love.
They don't know that. Yeah, like
What's that?
I was singing the chorus, yeah. Say.
I'm 57. I'm old. Oh.
People are like, I don't want to hear that musical now.
We're all headed there. We're all headed there, and like I'm 44. I'm not that young. So
this is why I like hanging out with you guys. I feel young.
Shut your mouth. So I just turned 44, and I feel really sad about it still.
Really?
Yeah. Anything, I don't know. But I cried at 40, like, and I don't usually cry, but I was like, You know why I'm so sad about getting older, and hear me out. Like it's let's end the evening really depressing. I'm sad about getting older because I'm really afraid of being the last one standing for the people I love.
Yeah.
And some of the people I love are actually 16 years older, 10 years older, like the chances are, and so like I'm like, maybe I'll die young. If I die young. I'm not that young though. But like I think that's what makes me sad so much, because I know that like we have finite time. That, and maybe I'm not where I'd like to be, those two things. But
yeah.
So I'm a moody person, man. Welcome to me. I'm funny until I'm not. The way you were talking, it reminded me of that lyric. Yep. Okay, that makes sense. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. We kind of meandered through trying to figure out what in the world's going on. And again, I'm not an expert. I don't have all the facts. I'm literally going through different things and streams trying to figure out what's going on with y'all. And I thought, let's watch it together and try to figure it out. I happen to know that there's Charla Static and Steve Static in the legal nature of things, which I mentioned earlier. I thought that maybe the police incident was related to that because the timing seems pretty close, but it seems like it might be separated out. Now, he has tied it completely to her, it seems like, from his tweets. But I don't know how he can quite do that. Also, this stuff didn't happen prior to somebody else joining the community, not just this person. So I don't know. I do not know what to think. But yeah, I just squeaked into Gen X. Yes, I am the last year of Gen X, so I'm not quite a millennial. So I feel like I have a little bit of Gen X sensibilities and a little bit of millennial sensibilities both, and so it makes me kind of a weirdo in that way. I would say
I'm a Gen Yer, so I'm also in that weird. Also, I remember the world before the internet, so that used to make me technically not a millennial, but I don't think that that's like a definer anymore.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be Gen Y. I thought you'd be the end of millennial, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm definitively Gen Y.
Interesting. Yeah. So I'm on the final year of Gen X, and there's like a saying on TikTok that calls us Zennials. So we're supposed to be the cool Gen Xers, meaning that we have a lot of similar sensibilities and we tend to be more progressive for some reason. Where our counterparts like Steve McRae, who's older Gen X, is on Rumble attacking trans folks. So, and those are the people that you say okay boomer to, because they act kind of like that. So, but that being said,
Spooky, I agree in a good way.
I have the Constitution. Well, I was raised like I was in a whole nother time period. Like, you know, as I was raised as a fairly conservative, well, not fairly, a conservative Christian, and I was very limited, you know, as a young person, and I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of like TV and stuff like that, and the stuff I was allowed to watch was really old school stuff on reruns. So it's really weird because I'll get with the boomer and I will know all the references. I will know what Daktari is. I will know what Get Smart is. I will know what Donna Reed show is. I will know all these weird things like from Nick at Night, you know, days.
Right on. Yeah, I don't even know what a lot of those are. Yeah.
But then I'll go to my own generation. Let's say the Goonies. I was not allowed to watch the Goonies. I didn't see the Goonies till I was an adult. I was not allowed to watch E.T. I didn't see E.T. till I was an adult. So like, I have some disconnects. I saw a lot of Disney movies as a young person, but I have some cultural disconnects. So that puts me in these weird categories where I'll suddenly kind of slide in and out between the two. But I don't know. I like to say I'm a little bit like Reality Bites, you know, that Ethan Hawke movie. And I'm a little bit Dawson's Creek. I'm a little between the two.
I can see you like telling somebody to like fuck off candy ass, like a boomer. Like that.
I would never use the word candy ass.
Okay.
That's not in my vernacular.
What is a more modern version? What has the same connotation?
Oh, I don't know. Let me think. I'm trying to think of something that we used to say like in the 80s that was sort of.
We used to really mean things in the 90s.
There's a lot of things that are just so horribly offensive that I don't want to say them now. But like it was like normalized. It was kind of terrible.
Me and Cora every once in a while would be like, "Man, we were mean." Like
my brother and I said a lot of mean things to each other. Like, and we would not go and tattle on each other. That was the rule. You can't go run over and tattle on each other. You just like clobber each other, and then you're just like, "Oh, we're fine."
Yeah.
because this is a boomer thing for me to say. So like, it's because my brothers and sisters would go, "You don't want to be Cindy Brady, do you?"
Okay.
And so by then, so by the time, you know, the Bradys were on reruns back in the days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, you know, but like fucking hell, I don't want to be Cindy Brady. She's a little tattletale brat.
Yeah, definitely not.
And I guess the counterpart to that for millennials might be maybe like the Olsen twins. I don't know.
Snitches get stitches.
What did she didn't say I'm telling. You're gonna be in trouble. The Olsen twins used to say something like that. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, you're gonna be in trouble, or
it was something to that gist, and I'll probably remember it like later. But,
had like a sing-songy kind of. Yeah.
Refrigerator. All right, y'all.
I love my
decade
nice
am I from? I don't know. Here's the thing. I like a lot of things. And I think that old things don't necessarily become terrible necessarily in all things. Now, I think that there's things that we grow from, not just like technology and better. Little House on the Prairie. I used to watch that on reruns. That was reruns when I was a kid. But you know, like there was a point I was getting to and I forgot what it was, because Little House on the Prairie. And then I thought of Pa, Ma, Pa.
Refrigerator.
Did
that help?
Oh, it's that I enjoy art and movies a lot, and so I'm a movie fanatic. And I like shows too. I hate the Waltons. Good night, Ma. Good night, Pa. I hate the Waltons. I like Little House on the Prairie though. And because I'm a movie fanatic, I watch old and new movies quite a bit, and I find that a lot of people do not share my love of old movies, but it's too bad because I think people are missing out, because it's good to know kind of where the culture came from and like the sensibilities and how we've shifted. And movies, war propaganda, people would be smart to watch the old war propaganda of the World War II days. Like just watch those newsreels and watch that propaganda machine go. And it's just fascinating, and how it's morphed into social media now, and these giant millionaire owned CNNs, and I'm very bad at acronyms.
Yeah.
MSNBC, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And their stuff. But yeah, it's interesting because I compare it and I go like some of this propaganda stuff is so familiar because it reminds me of like that other stuff, old stuff. But anyway, Green Acres is the place for me. Oh, I liked that opening as a kid, but I didn't like the show. But I used to like the Addams Family, and that was about the time Green Acres came on. And then my grandma used to watch Perry Mason. So
I remember that one.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks all for coming. I'm going to play some outro music. Thank you, Savage, for gracing me with your presence and staying up so late. I know it's a little bit late for you. So
yes, I'm gonna have to hit the hay here pretty soon. But thank you so much for having me, and thank you to the chat. And it's been a pleasure.
All
Thanks
right,
for cluing me in on everything.
Yep. You can stay backstage or not. I'm going to remove you from stream so we can play some music.
Sounds good.
All right. If I remove you, it doesn't kick you, right? If I kick you, come back. Okay, there we go. Success. This stream is a success. Not really. I think we had a rough start. I should have probably watched the Cheshire stream and EKC before I did it, but time is money, friend. So let's see. Tracy Ullman. No, that's not what I want to play. I want to play this. This song was introduced to me from Exiled, and she's great. And I'm going to just play this one. Was okay.
The streets of Salem were a terrifying sight. The witches dancing with the demons in the night. Their evil minions watch the town while it's in bed. Wish 'em dead, wish 'em dead, wish 'em dead. Old Reverend Paris knew that something was amiss. He felt the evil from a spiritual abyss. He knew the time had come to purify the town. Hunt 'em down, hunt 'em down, hunt 'em down.
Like repeats not
Channel
being followed.
died, Shannon. Have some goddamn respect.
Look.
No time was wasted in assembling a squad. This pitchfork army on a mission sent from God. No witch was saved from Reverend Paris's brigade. Their crusade, their crusade, their crusade. Call the magistrate and don't you wait another minute, cause this town is going to hell if we don't put away the sinning. And we got no time to let a jury have their turn. Let 'em burn, let 'em burn, let 'em burn.
We don't have to explain our love to anyone. They're all just jealous anyway. Jealous that we have a kind of love that's greater than anything in the entire galaxy.
And then were crammed into a carriage on the square. Their faces battered and their bodies all were bare. The Reverend led them to an isolated hill. Time to kill, time to kill, time to kill. One by one their necks were snapped beneath the cedar tree. The spirits vanished and the demons all were free. They dug a hole to hold the devilish remains. They were slain, they were slain, they were slain. The town was safe from all those wicked dissidents. They could continue with their life of innocence, dispensing justice from a higher power. They built a church atop the spirits and the bones. Their moans were heard as they were laying down the stones. But the witches got revenge beneath that steeple bell. They cast a spell, sent the reverend to hell.